Hey! Welcome to the Bloody Hell Podcast. I'm Cass, and this is Kahlee. And Kahlee, what episode are we covering today?
Ginger snaps.
We are covering the 2000/2001. Yeah, multiple release, yeah, whatever. Movie Ginger Snaps at my request.
This is Cassie's goth. This is Cassie's goth trash.
My
epitome
goth trash,
of
my
happiness
baby.
Of high school.
Yeah.
And when she asked if she could do this, I was like, "You just want to reminisce and 16-year-old you?" And you were like,
Yes.
"Yes, I do."
I originally, because it was my turn to pick the movie, and I was going to pick Chopping Mall because I wanted an introduction into my taste in horror films, which is
Campy as fuck.
campy, bad, just campy, bad horror films in the 70s and 80s. But Ginger Snaps is something special to me. Something ridiculously special. Ridiculous. Oh, God. Something very special to me because I idolized it as a teenager and I lived by it, being emo goth trash in the early 2000s. And it shaped who I was back then, and now that I watch it as a 30-year-old, I want to punch my former self.
There were a lot of scenes we were watching it. I was like, oh, I could see you doing this. Yep, I can see. I didn't know you when you were 16, but I could just imagine you walking through your Catholic schoolgirl as like Bridget or Ginger.
I definitely idolized Ginger.
And I was just like, I could see this.
No, I definitely idolized Ginger, and I based a lot of my style. I remember wearing like the bird skull necklaces.
You still have one of them somewhere, don't you?
Possibly. I think I repurposed it for cosplay.
Probably.
But today we're covering that. So this movie is a werewolf movie, and it's a very edgy movie. It came from a small independent Canadian studio. So it's an independent film. It had a very small budget, about $4.5 million.
Yeah, about
that. It was banned in the UK upon release because of the violence towards teenagers.
UK likes to ban
They banned things a lot back
everything, I
then.
feel.
But this movie also struggled to get funding because it came out, or was being pitched around the time of the Columbine school massacre / a lot of school massacres at that time. So they were very hesitant of showing violence towards teenagers, which is quite ironic, being a horror film, and all horror films are violence towards teenagers.
Well, it had a lot of like dark suicidal themes to it, and
yes, it did.
Murder, and I don't think that's what they wanted to promote in 2000.
Troubled teens in high school.
Let's not. Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely get that. This movie didn't do so well upon release.
No, it didn't. It only probably grossed about
$500,000?
5.5
Yeah.
mil after release.
Oh, yeah? I thought it only did $500,000. Like,
Half a mil? No, 5.5.
Okay.
It like barely made its money back. It was not well received. But I feel like it's one of those movies. So as someone who I didn't watch it in high school, I feel like I watched it at like a sleepover and I saw bits and bobs of it.
Same.
But as someone who's more of a the craft, I know you get the craft and you get Ginger Snaps, and they're just like,
yeah,
be friends.
That's right. Like, this movie came out when I was 10, so I did not see it back then. No. But I did see it when I was like 16, 17. It was that sleepover movie that you had to get by, because this was an MA15, so I was just able to get this in my local Blockbuster.
So you didn't get banned from Blockbuster?
I didn't get banned from Blockbuster. Banned from Blockbuster. Banned from
Do you want to do it
Blockbuster.
again?
No, that's fine. We can put my horrible English in there. I've only had half a glass of wine already.
She's tanked off her face.
I'm
The
tanked off my
champagne's
face.
coming soon.
I also want to say thank you to our loyal viewers, our wonderful friends. Made us a beautiful wine glass, and they have our logo on it, Bloody Hell, with each of our names. So now when we have our glasses of wine or coffee, when we're recording, or tequila, oh God, we wouldn't get through half an hour of a bloody podcast. Our bloody podcast, I'm so funny.
We're having fun today.
We're
We're in
having
a
fun
really
today.
weird mood and it's showing and it's fun.
But we have these beautiful glasses made for us by our wonderful friend Sue. Thank you so much. We love them. They're
Thank you,
fantastic.
Sue.
She gave us a bottle of what we call the dog wine.
Dog wine. We've been drinking the dog wine for 5-6 years now.
That since we know each other, because it's that $10 Edo bottle that's really nice.
Yeah, it's our go-to wine.
It's our go-to.
I'd message you after work and I'm like, wine? And you're like, dog wine? Yep.
Yeah.
We go to the bottle shop and we would be like, do you have the dog wine? And I give you a really weird look, but know what you were talking about.
Yeah. It's a Tasmanian wine. It's got Tasmanian devil on the front of it, and it's called the Fifth Leg, also known as Devil's Lair. And no, it's dog wine.
It's dog wine.
That's
we
it.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Free sprig for Devil's Lair. Thank you so much
We
for your
love you.
beautiful wine. And
Do you remember? Sorry, I cut you off.
That's all right.
Do you remember years ago when we had that cosplay championship we're watching with our friend compete overseas?
Oh no. Yes,
And it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you lived up the road from a bottle-o, and we were like, let's go get some wine and watch our friend compete, because over in America where she was competing, it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. So we were like, let's go celebrate her win.
Yep.
And the guy at the bottle shop was like, oh, are you two girls going for a lunch? And we're like, yes,
Yeah.
we are. And then
Yeah.
we went back about an hour later and got another bottle, and we had to confess we were watching cosplay championships.
Because he was like, are you ladies off to a luncheon, like a champagne breakfast or something? And we're like, it's probably just more normal if we just say, yes, we're having a champagne breakfast. Not, we're going to watch the C2E2 cosplay championships and cheer our friend on.
Oh, and then every time we would go back, he would just give us this look of like, it's my friendly neighborhood alcoholics back again.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't live in that suburb anymore. I've moved 100 kilometers away from that.
I liked him. He
was fun.
nice.
They were fun.
They were fun. They knew us.
They knew us.
We're not alcoholics, we promise.
Look, I used to work for a bottle shop, and it was kind of like, oh no, you know us.
Yeah.
When I knew people off like, I would know people by like their membership, and I would say their name, and they'd be like, oh no, you know me by name. And I'm like, you have a membership card. I just scanned it. That's
You're also here every 3 days.
probably less than that. Yeah, no. Whenever we have like $2 clean skin days, you know, like
the clean, yeah.
Yeah, in Australia, clean skin is a unlabeled bottle of wine, usually from really cheap, what's the word? Cellars, winery cellars.
I thought it was just like the dreggy leftover wine of like, we just can't quite get rid of this. So we're going to put it in like those wine bundle packs, which are really fun.
There's
actual like
actual
those packs.
There's actual wineries that do make these, that are dedicated to making these clean skins, and yeah, they're cheap. They're yeah. Some of them are good, and by that I mean Pinot Noir, and that's about it.
Can we call them hangover juice?
No, I just call them sangria juice because
Sangria
you don't put good wine in sangria. You just put whatever wine in sangria and you mix it with some triple sec, and it's fantastic.
This is true. I do like sangria.
No, sangria is good.
We should sangria after this.
We're having champagne after this.
Thank you, Nick, for giving us the champagne. Thank you for my birthday wine.
We're not alcoholics, but it's a Sunday afternoon and we're filming our podcast. Anyway, Ginger Snaps.
That was a rant.
That's okay. That's what we do. We talk. Ginger Snaps is, a movie that I idolized as a teenager, and I tried to live like these girls in the film, which is Emily Perkins and Catherine Isabel. Emily Perkins, you probably know her from the 1991 It movie. She played a very young Beverly Marsh. Or if you watch the movie Juno, she's a chick in the pregnancy clinic.
She is! Oh my god, she is! I could not place her, because when you said she was in Juno, I was like, where is she in Juno?
Yeah, no, she's the
Oh my gosh, she is. That's great.
Yeah, the Planned Parenthood clinic. That's where she's from. Yeah, she's a golf girl in that.
Love it.
Yeah. And Catherine Isabel, who is, has a great history with horror movies. So she was in Freddy vs. Jason, 2002 Carrie, so both these girls have a Stephen King background. And she was also in Snoop Dogg's Bones.
There you go.
There you go, yes.
I left you to do all the research for this episode, so I'm learning just as much as everybody else is this time.
I loved them because that was my first introduction to actors and actresses playing teenagers who are in their mid-20s. Yeah. Because I was so jealous that I didn't look like Catherine Isabel as a goth girl. And my mum had to explain to me that she is in her mid-20s. There's no way that your teenage body can look like that. And I remember Googling it and I was like, oh, she's right.
So even as my adult body, I'm still like, damn it. How did I not get that?
I'm going to go get bit by a werewolf whilst I'm on my period. That is literally the plot of the movie, by the way. Short summary, too long didn't read, is alternative teenagers, one gets their period, gets bit by a werewolf, insanity ensues.
Can I add in though, if they literally just listened to their parents, none of this shit would have gone down. And didn't leave the house.
And they've got the best mum ever. I actually love the mum. I thought she was so annoying as a teen, and now I'm watching it and I'm like, I would have killed for you as a mum.
There's a scene there where Ginger yells at her mum like to go away when she's trying to like shave like her fluffy legs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I said that to my mother, she would have slapped me.
Yeah.
And like probably locked me away for like a month.
Because that scene, she's like, but she's in the bath, and her mum just walks into the bathroom. It's like, that's nothing I've ever seen before. As a teen, I probably would have yelled at my mum going, get out!
I know your mum, and she still would have probably slapped and yelled at you and locked you away for a month as well.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad would have been like...
Dad would have changed the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, but...
That's what Dad did. He would be like, oh, Cassie's acting up, change the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, your poor sister. We had to get all the consequences.
Oh, that's okay. I knew how to log into the router and change the password back.
Nerd.
Shut up. I liked my internet.
Audio internet.
Anyway, this movie, it did average at the box office. It was okay. But it ended up getting a very big cult following. So this is one of those movies that you would call a cult classic. But that didn't pick up until like about 5 years after release. Well, 4 or 5 years, because then they brought out a back-to-back sequel. And sequel. So there was Ginger Snaps 2 and 3. Back to back in 2004 or 5, and they were hot garbage. They were absolutely hot garbage. This movie absolutely dates itself to 2001, 2000. Watch the original, do not touch the second and third. Maybe the third, not the second. But yes, that is my view on that. Who else was in this movie? Oh yeah, the mum.
The mum, Mimi Rogers.
Mimi Rogers. She was Susie Maxwell in Ash vs. Evil Dead.
She was Kelly's mum. Who Kelly had to... How did she die? I think she got impaled by something. And that's essentially how, like, Kelly's whole character arc happened. But, yeah. She was good in that for the episode she was in.
Other worthwhile stuff she was in was like in the 2.5 Men when they killed off Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher came in. She played Ashton Kutcher's mother.
Never watched 2.5 Men.
Yeah, neither did I.
No, I think that was just that little bit too before my... viewing age, and then by the time I was old enough to appreciate it, I had like missed the ship.
I'm pretty sure those came out when we were in our when they killed off Charlie Sheen, that was when we were in our late teens, early 20s.
We knew about the drama of him, but not really what he was involved
we weren't attached
with him
to the
himself.
show.
We were not involved.
No, 2.5 Men was just such a dad show to me. I just couldn't. My dad liked it. I thought it was weird.
It is weird.
It is.
Even looking back now, it's like, this is a weird
How does a man a freaking millionaire for creating TV jingles? Yes, I know how much the economy is in TV jingles, but Jesus Christ.
Is that what he did for
That's
his
what he
job?
did. He just created jingles. That's all he did.
I learned something new today.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm learning lots of things today, actually.
No.
Do you know? 2.5 Men? Look at
Cassie,
you go.
Cassie consumed a lot of media as a teenager and never left the house. Pretty much what I do today.
So you left the house at some point?
Yeah, I know. See, like, this is why I'm not completely translucent with my skin tone.
See, you say translucent, and my brain just automatically goes to The Boys, and they have a stick of dynamite up your butt. Cassie's now sipping her wine, pretending to ignore my bullshit. Because she knows I'm not wrong.
Alright, so here's some fast facts about Ginger Snaps.
Do you want to do the fast facts today?
Oh, I know.
Because this is a you episode.
This is a me episode. Have you written fast facts in this document?
I have, but this is a you episode, and I was just covering just in case you didn't research.
Okay. No. Alright, here's some fast facts about Ginger Snaps. So, fun fact, that school that Ginger Snaps was shot at is the same school that they used at Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
No way!
It is, yeah.
Oh, I love that movie!
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah! See, I'm learning so much! I love this! I can sit back and sip my wine and you can deal with this whole episode.
Alright, so, yeah, Scary Stories, school in Toronto, yeah. Great school, wonderful. Don't visit the school, don't be weird. Most of this film was shot at night, and so for most daytime scenes, they actually used giant floodlights to make it look like it was daytime.
I did know that, I did read that, and I was like, well dang, that's a very powerful light, and how big was your electricity bill?
I know. I'm wondering if it was the, you know how... in Australia, we don't really get it, but people like overseas, I'll say like nighttime, but it's like 7 p.m. and it's still daylight outside.
Yeah, we get to 6 o'clock and it's pitch black.
Yeah, because I did notice for some scenes, like it would look kind of overcasty with the weather, but there would be like this afternoon sun on the buildings, and I'm wondering if that was the floodlight.
Maybe.
I don't know, but cool.
They did good.
Yeah, like I know when there's been a lot of like films that are shot at at daytime, and they make it look like nighttime, which is really cool. I've never seen it done in reverse, so that would really be cool to
That was cool.
probably look at.
I wonder why they did that. If it was just like it was easy to film at the school and the locations, and if it was just cheaper, or if it was actually like a
I don't know. Well,
choice.
they did do all the filming in 6 weeks, so maybe they're on a time limit.
They were just like, screw it, let's
Screw
just bring
it,
these
let's do
massive
this,
ass lights and get it done.
It'd be interesting. I have no idea. Let's see, what else have I got here? So if you've seen this film and you've seen the dynamic between the two lead actresses, you'll notice that they pass off as a very good dynamic duo as sisters. Like, they're very believable as sisters. And that's because both Catherine Isabel and Emily Perkins, they went to the same primary school, they went to the same elementary school, and they both went through the same talent agency. So, twinning, and then they auditioned on the same day and both got the part.
I have a question to ask you. Aren't they both now also streamers?
Yeah, actually. No, wait. Yes, Catherine
Yeah.
Isabel is a big streamer right now. Emily Perkins she's an accidental streamer because her tag on Twitter or whatever got mistaken for a stream team, like an esports team.
Oh no.
And she pointed it out, but they were all good sports with each other, and they just milked it for what it's worth, and she got a shirt out of it. And I think she's done a few surprise streams out of it. It's been really cute.
That's fun. I like that. I like that.
But yeah, Catherine Isabel, she's on Twitch sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Does she play games, or does she just do like just chatting, or what does she do?
She's played games a few times, but I think she mainly does just chatting. That she hangs out with people. Maybe I don't know. I've never really tuned into her streams. I like watched a few seconds to be like, holy shit, does she do this? And
Is this actually you?
Yeah, no, she's pretty cute at it. It's
Not
really
like
good.
some rando with like a cardboard cutout just sitting there pretending to be like, hello, I'm playing a game today.
And my last fact, which is probably my favorite, which is probably why I love this film so much, is the director, John Fawcett, absolutely refused to have CGI effects in the film. He opted for all of the special creature effects to be done prosthetically, like practical effects. And if you know me, I love practical effects. I don't care how shit it looks. I love it. I prefer it to CGI. If it's CGI, I kind of also want that to be terrible as well. So I don't know. I like it being like chopping more with the lasers. I like bad special effects, but I love good practical effects, which is probably why I love this movie with its practical werewolf makeup and latex suits. I think that's really cool.
So it wasn't the girls wearing the bird skull necklaces that you related to a little bit too much in high school?
In high school,
just that.
In high school,
also the makeup.
In high school, I was like, my idols. And as an adult, I'm like, fuck yeah, practical effects. Because it has big Buffy vibes with the practical effects.
Oh yeah, very, 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 very big Buffy vibes.
Very big Buffy vibes. Anyway, with the practical effects done, how about we head into the movie?
Dun dun dun!
When I rewatched this, I thought that we had a dodgy copy and this wasn't the movie. Because it starts off panning on this suburb, and I'm just like, did we just look the first Harry Potter movie? Is this Privet Drive?
Speaking of dodgy copies, we do have to have one story before we start this whole episode, though.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of dodgy copies,
okay.
Do not buy your DVDs from eBay, people.
Oh, yes.
So, here we take a bit of pride in trying to buy the DVDs and actually watch them and be good girls about that sort of stuff, because piracy is bad and don't be a Captain Morgan. But this time we got screwed over big time and we bought a pirated copy on eBay.
Yeah, well, you got it. You thought it was real because you paid like $12 for it, and you're like, yep, perfect, got it,
Cool
excellent.
beans, got this.
And
no, I opened it and the smell of like the ink, inkjet paper, and I was like, oh no. But it came in this weird little plastic sleeve, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's just like really bad.
Maybe it's like
It's old
used
printed.
or
It's old.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, some DVD covers are just legit janky looking.
Especially with it being an independent film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, oh, okay, it's a little bit dodgy, but alrighty. And I opened up the sleeve, and I could smell it, and I'm like, oh no. What's that song that everyone plays at the moment on like TikTok where it's like, oh no,
oh no, oh no, 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 no.
That was going through my brain, and I opened it, and I like took the disc out, and I was like, fuck.
It's very poorly printed. and cut up too. Like you can see where like they just got scissors. They didn't even use a guillotine.
And a big thing we do so hard is to try and actually buy the movies, because I collect things like that too, because I like hoarding shit. So now I'm sad I can't add it to my collection. I need to go spend another like $15 and buy it again.
Yeah, the whole drinks will probably be like 30.
I know, I thought I got a good deal on eBay and I was just like, cool. So
yeah, because the thing with eBay is still very prevalent in Australia. So in the States, you guys have Amazon. Amazon in Australia is pretty garbage.
We don't discuss Amazon in Australia.
We're not big with Amazon in Australia. Whereas with eBay, it's like our Amazon. Like there's a lot of resellers on there that are actually quite legit.
Kind of to the point where you almost don't read reviews and descritions.
You just make sure
as you should, because it is such a legit platform.
Yeah, like their reviews are over 98%, and they have their ratings are over 98%, and they have that little like Australian stock icon in their photo.
Yeah,
like,
cool,
got it,
be here next week.
Because a lot of legitimate shops here in Australia, they actually sell on eBay. Like, there's like the place that I bought my phone, Mobile City, I bought it from the actual shop, but then they also have an eBay store where they sell from. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just a big thing here in Australia.
Like, easy, like 65% of my DVDs are from eBay. And they've just all been from people's collections, or they've just been from, like, Blockbusters closing down, and... Yeah. It's just not an uncommon thing. So I got screwed over, and the sad thing is I got done by the same seller once before.
Oh.
Which makes it double mad. I tried to buy Sleepaway Camp.
You've done it twice.
I've done it twice.
Oh.
You think I would have learnt.
Yeah, no. We were excited about doing Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, we were very excited. We did watch it.
We did watch it.
I mean, it's not going straight in the bin. It's just probably going to get snapped after this episode, because I don't like...
Yeah, don't want to support that.
No, I'm not into that.
Okay, so...
That was my segue.
That's alright. No, that's a good segue. That's we tried to be ethical and put money towards it, but I can assure you, after this episode is done, we're probably going to go buy a legitimate copy.
Oh, 100%.
It's just hard to buy movies made from 2001 by independent studios.
So, like, off to DVD King in the city we go.
Yeah, one that's going to be region locked to Canada.
Oh, that's also a problem I've had.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Okay, so back to the start of the movie. It's an overcast day. The suburbs are looking grey.
So dramatic today,
I
aren't you?
know. I finished my first glass. I'm going to need a top up soon. But anyway, so it's an overcast day, and we're panning over this suburb of houses. It's very picturesque, very pretty. I thought this movie wasn't the correct one because of how pretty this looked. Anyway, a mother is raking leaves in her yard, and she looks over her son lovingly, who is playing in a sandbox. The son looks curiously into the sand. You don't see what he's looking at. But then he touches his face with whatever he put on his hands.
You're so serious, I love it.
Shut up! Let me do this. And then, it's a 2001 edgy movie, let me be dramatic.
I love it. You were like in your element, and... I'm just wait till next episode, people.
Wait until we get halfway through this, and I'm like 2 glasses in, and I'm like, are we done yet? And then he touches his face, and a red liquid appears on his top lip.
Interject, the child did not get his period, as I first thought.
Yeah, because this movie is about periods. Carly thought...
I was like,
did the kid get a period?
I was like, what? Because I was imagining a bit like Carrie, because I knew the whole plot was like, it was very period based. So I was like, okay, cool. It's just me like Carrie, she's gonna get right into it. And then when that's happened, I was like, this is not what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. This isn't like Carrie. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the mother walks lovingly up to her son, still not seeing the red liquid adorning his top lip. And then she sees it. And then you hear a scream. And all of a sudden, we get a zoom up on the doghouse. Not the puppy dog. Baxter is dead!
Baxter fertilizer!
Baxter's fertilizer! Actual quote. Because then she picks up, in the sandpit, she picks up a dog paw with the bone hanging out. So we have... Dog lovers, I'm very sorry, but there are a lot of mutilated dogs in this film, and it is a reoccurring theme. Yeah, so don't watch this if you get sensitive about the idea of your pets, specifically dogs.
Go pat your child now.
Go pat and hug your child now. Yeah.
Maybe a cat.
Maybe keep them indoors at night. Because this is one thing that did annoy me, is...
Actually, yes,
They made it a very big thing that there's this, like, all over the news, that there's this thing attacking their dogs at night, and nobody thought to keep their dog indoors at night.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. Baxter is like, okay, they did stick a chain link fence around his doghouse, but they kind of trapped him in. They stuck a chain link fence around his doghouse, and then they kind of, because you could see his cadaver, and he had this chain going from his collar to the doghouse. So he obviously tried to run and could not because he's trapped there.
Maybe they have like good intentions, like they tried to keep it out, but they should just kept the dog
Put
in the
the dog
laundry.
inside. They can look like a giant German Shepherd.
Put
I don't care. Keep the dog inside.
You know something's going around eating the other animals. My dog is coming inside.
Yeah,
I don't care about my fancy floors or my couch or the carpet.
Anyway, so Baxter's dead and the mother is screaming her head off. And next you see Emily Perkins's character, Bridget, walking out of her garage looking very, I'm going to say frumpy. Like
frumpy's a word. Frumpy's a good word to describe her.
They definitely styled the sisters like very mousy-like, but they obviously made Ginger the older sister who could do the coming of age, I'm now hot transformation. So
yeah, her sister was very... I can't pinpoint what it how she was dressed reminds me of. It was a very frumpy... No, it was Jawbreaker.
Oh yeah, Jawbreaker.
Yeah, Jawbreaker.
Yeah,
I think that's what it reminded me of. Was I can't remember the character's name.
They were very like hiding. They're doing the Billie Eilish thing of like hiding their figures.
Yeah.
But this was very intentional by the costume department. They had the whole theme of Ginger wearing her massive fuzzy sweaters and then ditching them when she started becoming more like a wolf. And it represented the closeness with her and her sister.
They were together. They were a bond. They dressed the same. They acted the same. They were essentially one, and then they weren't anymore.
That's it. But they dressed very like, I'm going to just say layers, like Addams Family, just lots of layers. Like the hippie skirts, it's just...
the worst wig known to mankind. Which I will say, everyone... gave shit for the wig in The Craft that Sarah wore, and no one gives shit to this wig in this movie. Like that one.
This is more of an independent movie than Craft.
I know, but like...
Yeah, I know. The wig that Emily Perkins got was absolutely atrocious.
Horrible.
She's a natural brunette, and they gave her this dark brown wig that looked absolutely disgusting.
I wonder why they did that. Like, was there a reason? Like, did they just need to tease her hair so much they just get to the point of, like, they're not going to bother?
Maybe it was to appear more like teenager hair or something.
Maybe.
Like that.
I would like to know why.
Maybe she has naturally thin hair. I don't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah. They just needed it to be like all over her face. Like
maybe just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
Her natural hair, and it was like, you know what? We'll just get a wig.
Yeah. Like I remember. One thing I did idolize about her in this film was because she always had her hair covering one side of her face. I used to do that because I had really long hair, and then my mum started calling me Cyclops, and then I stopped.
Like from the X-Men? Or just like the monster, like in Disenchantment?
Just like the monster, the actual Greek mythology monster.
Oh no. Yeah, I can see your mum doing that.
Yeah.
I love your mum. She's great. She tells you how it is.
Thanks, Mum. Love you, Mum.
Hi, Cassie's mum.
Anyway.
You're still down to buy that cat if you want.
Anywho, Bridget is walking out of the garage holding some tools of what Kahlee can describe as, is she making a bomb?
I thought they were making a bomb.
They were. It sounded like they were because, first of all, she's walking out. She sees a mother, like, screaming over their dead dog, Baxter.
All the kids in the cul-de-sac, like, playing hockey, and she's like, Baxter!
And the kids are like, Baxter!
Oh, okay, cool, and just go back to playing hockey.
The entire neighborhood just stops, looks at this lady and goes, okay, and then they just go back.
Oh, this poor lady's in hysterics. These kids are like, oh, this is another day in our cul-de-sac.
Yeah. And then there's that really, what's the name of that dog that just kept barking and she's like, shut up.
Oh, man.
It's Norman.
Already? No, I think I've got it in my notes.
I wrote it down somewhere too.
Because, he comes back.
Oh my god, it's Norman, you dumbass.
Norman!
Yes,
that's it.
Whole thing again, so it's like a bit more less like...
Anyway, so yeah, then Norman's barking his head off. Recurring theme. Norman barking his head off. And Bridget just goes, shut up, Norman. And then heads in the house, and one of our favourite lines that Kahlee just quoted before comes out. She goes into her and her sister's room, which I think, because they're living in like the basement, but then they pass a lot of like what I assume is renovations. So I'm wondering if they're renovating their rooms.
I just assumed like they were just living in the basement because that was like the cool thing to do. And their mum is quite cool, so she was just like, "Yeah,
her mother
live in the basement. You go live in the basement. I'm not gonna question it."
Because I'm like, don't you guys get a better bedroom than this? Because like the aesthetic of the house is so different. But then
I think their parents are just super chill with them. They you go do you like their beds are like hospital beds.
Yeah, that's true. So I think because mum did say she has a very hands-off approach with those two, so that could be it. But she goes into her sister's and hers shared basement room, and she says,
Baxter's fertilizer,
and then she does this like monologue about how crap the world is and everything, and I stopped paying attention at this point. I think you
said at one point I would quote this entire thing, and I'm like, oh no, 16-year-old Cassie.
I will quote the pact that they made. The pact. They had a so it was like pact. They had a pact together
that they made when they were 8.
Since they were 8.
They were 8. I'm like, Jesus.
Because we start off with a scene that Ginger's got a knife against her wrist, ready to cut, and then she just sits there going, "Wrists are for girls. I'm slitting my throat." And I'm like, oh no, I thought they were so cool. Like, that just set the tone for me.
You get the worst secondhand embarrassment as well. Like, you will, like, fetal on the couch and be like, no. So for you to rewatch this and do that, I'm like, oh, I am so happy right now.
Yeah, and then she looks at her sister and goes like, "You should hang." And Bridget is like, "Oh, that's a bit cliche, I think." And then they have this, like, chat about how suicide is the ultimate fuck you to the world. I'm like, oh my god, I actually thought like this when I was their age.
Yeah, I mean, that was their identity. I guess there are still people out there now that are like, this is everything, and they don't know any better. And
yeah, like I definitely, if I can reflect now to how I was back then, I definitely have way better ways, and I've learned how to channel my anger and my emotions a lot more now, and that just came with emotional maturity. Like, back then, I understand how I was the way that I was, because I was growing. I thought I was a full-grown adult at, like, 16 up to, like, freaking 19. I still didn't know. There was all these responsibilities being thrown on me, and I thought, I'm an adult now. No, I was not. Get back in your corner, Cassie. Start colouring in. And I can understand why people are like that now and why I was like that back then. But as an adult, I'm still going to cringe at my former self.
It's one of those things I feel like it just comes with age.
Mm-hmm.
You can reminisce back and still do you and still be... I don't know. It's a very touchy subject, though.
Yeah, so I can look at the microscopic things that just made me set out in anger, like really frustrated. I hate my life. What the hell is going on? And you say that stuff to me now, and I'm just like, alright, cool.
My bad.
Doesn't matter in 10 years. Nope, cool, bye. That's essentially it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girls in this movie, back to the movie, rather than deep teenagehood chats, this isn't a self-help teenage magazine. Dolly Doctor. Yeah.
I was going to say, sponsored by BetterHelp.
No! God.
That's not put my hand up.
That's
like, that's getting edited out.
No, I'm going to mention that. No, we're not. We are not sponsored by BetterHelp. And we've just lost any chance of being sponsored by them, but that's okay.
That's okay. We want the wine people. Or Shudder. Shudder would be cool.
Shudder would be... They're not too bad. I take Shudder. I take Shudder. Shudder's not too bad.
What's up, Shudder?
Shudder? Hunter Killer? Hey, mate.
Hunter Killer! Yes.
Well, what else? Or any other wine subscriptions? Yes. Coffee subscription.
Holy Talker? Christine.
Oh, now we're just going to list our interests.
Interests or obsessions?
So the girls are discussing their pact that they made. And I memorized this as a teen, and I had a friend at the time that we were really close, and we loved this movie, and we kind of like...
Can you still recite this? Can you do it now?
What, dead by 16 or God?
Yeah, like the whole quote.
Oh, God.
Pressure's on. King.
No. Shut up. Was it dead by 16 or gone in the scene? Together Forever, both against life as we know it. Yes.
Is that it?
That's it.
Good job.
I know. To the side, you can see Bridget making something, and that's when Kahlee thought that she was making a bomb, because she had like bleach.
She had bleach, and she had like the butane, because we had them when we go camping. That's what we use to like start the campfire if I can't start a fire that day. I'm getting lazy. I'm gonna get the butane thingy out, and I start my fire. So I'm like, are these girls making a bomb? Should I be concerned about this? Because I hadn't watched this movie since I was like yourself, like 12, and it was at sleepovers. Didn't really watch it. So my knowledge of the movie was very research for this episode, and then I watched the movie, and I knew it was a lot about teens and suicide and murder and that whole plot, and I knew a lot of they couldn't get funding because of like Columbine was a reason. And I know those people, I don't want to say who they are, those two people did use bombs in that, and I was like, are they going to try and recreate this?
Yeah, are they going to go into school?
I thought way too much into it because I researched before I watched the movie, and I'm like, no, it's going to be a very deep, heavy movie like that. And I was very, very glad when it wasn't.
No.
So glad. I was like, oh, thank fuck.
They're preparing for their school project,
which I adore.
Yeah, so their school project was like a slideshow-esque kind of thing of different ways of dying
essentially.
Yeah, suicide, whatever. It was just different ways of it.
See, this is where past me, so 16-year-old you was like, I love the characters. 16-year-old me would think, I love what they're doing in the production for these photos for their art show.
Oh, no, I used that music. I did a production at school using it.
And this is why we're concerned about it constantly.
Well, I'll give you some backstory. I was in grade 6. No, not 6.
God, you
that's
were
primary school.
11.
No. Sorry. No, grade 11. Grade 11. Grade 11. Grade 11. I was 16. And it was in drama. And our drama teacher did not give you a good grade unless your like production was a tragedy. And so we did a tragedy, and it was like I'm not going to say too much of what it was because it is a very sensitive topic, and looking back on it now, it was like, why did I do a production of this? Pardon?
Like cringe.
Like cringe, yeah. It was it was set in a certain war history. And we did a interpretive dance to this song of us being who they were against and us dying.
Oh, I'm putting 2 and 2 together.
You're putting 2 and 2 together. Yeah, putting 2 and 2 together because I don't want to. I'm very ashamed.
I'm getting to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my god, my white privileged high school. Who told me like that was a good idea?
It's okay to change opinions and stuff. Though when you get older, you look back and reflect and go, oh shit, nope.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that.
Yeah, no, we did an interpretive dance of being in certain showers and being murdered, and yeah.
To that song.
That was my little segue there, but it was fantastic.
Cassie had a great time in high school. Oh no! Again, that song can just play. It's like, oh no, oh no. I was saying way too much TikTok.
Yes, back to the movie with the weird, depressing, but really cool slideshow. Like, even now, I look back on it, I think it's pretty cool. I love the effects that they put into it.
Oh, but that was the one they had the fence, and she's lying on it because they had the whole...
Oh, yeah, she was impaled with the fence. Cause, yeah.
And I looked at you, and I was like, why was Meg on the fence about leaving Jinko?
Yeah, we're watching it, and you're like, can I say a Repo reference? Will anyone get it? I'm like, I don't care, say it.
I love Repo.
I know
we should watch Repo. We should do Repo.
We'll do Repo. Anyway, they're doing their school project. And Ginger, you get the first scene of Ginger being like impaled by a fence. And you just hear the commentary that I love from Bridget saying, there's too much blood. And I can see your gaunch.
Yeah. Oh, I loved how crude this movie was for 2000s movies. I found lots of early, like, I'd say like late 80s, mid-late 80s were very crude, but they were like funny crude. And then when it got to 2000s, they tried to like, they did that meta thing where everything was just funny for the sake of being funny, and they weren't crude funny. This movie is just, I'm just going to say what I'm thinking.
That's it. But the dynamic worked. If they wanted to be
it was great.
Yeah. If they wanted to be sisters, like, trash talking each other. Like,
I'm stoked about this movie. Like, I did not think, honestly, I would enjoy this movie as much as I did.
It's a fun time. It's a fun time. It's a fun werewolf movie. Yeah. But anyway, they do their school project, and it's just like, scenes of like suicide, death.
There's pills.
Drinking cyanide tea. Like, or being a paraplegic and falling down the stairs.
It explains the bleach they had and why they had, like, the butane tank.
Their mum calls it their death project.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they show it as the school project, and the students are like, whoa, yeah! And the teacher's like, I am disgusted.
He's like, go to the guidance counsellor separately. Because they're like glued at the hip, essentially.
Yeah.
Because they did point out very early on that Ginger is 16, Bridget is 15, but she skipped a grade.
Yes.
That's how they're so together constantly.
Yeah.
So they did address that pretty early on, because I did think it for a quick second.
Like, why they're in the same grade? No, I did think the same. Like, I forgot that line that she says in the counsellor's office.
And then they did address it very quickly. So I was very appreciative of that.
Me too. Because I did sit there going, why are you guys in the same class?
Yeah, it's not like that weird Riverdale thing where they're all different ages and for some reason eternally stuck in high school.
They're weirding me out that they were embarrassed by the negative reaction from their teacher about the project when they did it very obviously to
But that's a passion project.
Intrigue.
That's what they're into. That was like essentially their baby. And for someone to go, this is disgusting.
But they knew it would disgust people.
But it's still their baby though. That was their project. They put a lot of effort into that, and as much as I knew it would disgust people, it was still their project. They put a lot of time into it. It's sad not to get the reaction that you thought you would get, for the teacher to yell at them instead of just going, that's disgusting.
That is one thing I did.
He did punish them.
Yeah, that is one thing I did lack back then. I do look at myself back then, how I would have reacted. I probably would have reacted the same, because I did lack the empathy to feel what the other person is feeling, like to understand other people's emotions and how they would react. Like, now as an adult, if I approached that teacher, I'd be like,
the fuck, mate?
You're not gonna like any of this shit I produce. Okay, let's make something mainstream.
Again, we go back to your drama teacher.
Oh,
who only like tragic and torture.
Yeah, that's it.
You play the game, you play your audience.
That's it. Yeah, so, yeah, okay, I kind of get that now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Alright. But then...
They're playing hockey.
They're playing hockey, yeah.
They're playing that really weird game where it's like, well, how will this person die? And they're talking about...
Search and destroy.
Search and destroy?
Yeah.
It's like... Is it a game about how this person would die?
They predict someone's death, because they looked at one of the girls now, like, diet pills, overdose.
Yeah, overdosing on diet pills.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of would have played this game.
I did play that game.
I didn't, but I would have. See, this is why we should have been friends when we were 16, or it would have been a horrendous thing.
My friend in high school at the time, we played it for a little bit, and then I lost the notebook, and I was terrified that a school counsellor would pick it up, because I had been to the council's. I was a student that was in the council's office, like, every single week. But I did find the book.
See, we just had a burn book, like in Mean Girls, and we lost that, and oh shoot, I don't think it ever turned up. But
No, I ended up finding my notebook. Thank frick.
I don't think our burn book was that bad. It was pretty tame. I think we just literally quoted the movie.
Yeah.
Made out with a hot dog. Yeah, I think we just quoted the movie a lot, but yeah.
But yeah, they're just sitting there planning everyone's deaths around them.
But then they catch them planning their deaths. Like, is her name, was it Trish or Trisha?
Trina.
The curly hair girlfriend.
Trina?
Yes,
Trina?
correct.
I remember we found out her name late in the movie, because I think they were referring to her by her last name at some point.
We did miss her name pretty early. We were just taking a lot of notes.
And then when they said her name, you and I were like, oh!
Because I just kept writing down like,
Can you two not remember anything?
Because we do watch these movies. Trina. Yeah. So we do watch these movies. We'll watch them separately as like background noise. Well,
yeah,
I'll clean my house and I'll put it on background noise.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah, and then we'll watch it together, and then we'll come and record these, so it's fresh in our noggin. And
yeah. We sit there and we write notes. We're in our little notepads, writing things out. So yeah, we usually watch them twice. One for background noise and pacing. So that way, when we watch it the second time and we're writing notes, we know what scenes are coming, but we don't feel like we're obligated to go, what I just missed? What's been happening?
Because I did do that, because this is still a very new thing for us.
Yeah.
So we were testing a little bit like what works best for us, what's our best like time to do it. And our first episode we just flat out watched it with like nothing prior.
Yes.
And the whole time we were just taking notes and not really paying attention to the movie so much. The second time, I don't know about you, but I had watched the whole movie. And then we came back, and then I caught the end of it. You were rewatching it.
That's right, yes.
And then that was a bit tricky. So I think we found our little sweet formula now.
But our last episode though, it's a bit hard to judge. So our last episode was Happy Death Day.
It was a tricky.
And that Groundhog Day thing of just reoccurring, and they were pulling out our notes, and we're like, did that? I
mean,
Yeah. That wasn't a good frame of reference, but I feel like a lot better now with this film. In Leprechaun, we did okay for our first episode.
I'm very proud of our first episode.
It's been fun. Here we are, 3 episodes in.
Look at us go.
Yeah.
We're not official at all. Help us.
Oh,
and back to the movie because we get distracted like goldfish.
That's alright.
They're playing hockey.
But then, like, okay, so the girls are up. They have to ditch their cigarette, put it out because they're smoking.
Oh,
at
they're
school.
like just subtly like smoking in.
They're subtly smoking behind their jackets. But you would stink.
You would break. But then also they're wearing like the trench coats still, and I'm like, no PE teacher that I played with or like went to high school with would let me wear that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is it has something to do with it? Was there what they were wearing? Was that like an official uniform or something?
I don't know.
They don't have uniforms over there, whereas we had uniforms.
I feel like they were wearing uniforms.
Yeah.
And I can't remember now. If they were wearing uniforms, like,
I just remembered white shirt and tracky pants.
I feel like they were wearing uniforms.
Maybe
they were all wearing a white shirt and some trackies.
But then they were wearing their trench coats over the top of their trackies.
Maybe it was just maybe it was just to show that they were the alternatives of the groups. They still stood out and didn't blend into a pack so much, maybe.
I just remember in high school wearing my school sports uniform, and I tried to be different, wearing my my Converses as my PE shoes. Oof. And I was in trouble so much because they weren't sneakers. They weren't proper sneakers.
See, I remember my best friend in high school, we had the same shoes. We were next door neighbours, so we went school shoe shopping together, and we bought the exact same shoes but in different colours, and we had swapped one shoe each, and we went through probably 2 years before the school realised that we had 2 different coloured shoes. And then
so we had to wear white. No other shoe, only white, but then I wore my black Converses.
We weren't meant to wear white shoes. We were meant to wear black closed-in shoes. They could not be white. They couldn't have any colour on them. They couldn't
this for sports or just normal uniform?
Well, we had our formal uniform and a sports uniform.
Okay, we would alternate. Sports, so you're talking about formal?
School uniforms.
Okay, you're talking about school. Okay. No,
yeah,
I was talking about sports.
Oh, no, we had like a school uniform, we had a sports uniform, like you would wear them to the school.
Yeah.
And then if you were part of like a special sports team, you would then change into that particular uniform.
Yeah, we had that with the netball students.
Yeah, netball. I did it for volleyball for like once, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back to the art room because screw this.
Yeah, I was not a sporty kid.
No, they had to like make me an extracurricular class because I wasn't allowed outside anymore.
They're playing hockey, but then so they announce that they're up and they have to play after everyone's been playing behind them, and so they line up ready to go. Ginger looks at Bridget going, "I'll cover you," and then they start.
Yeah.
And that meanie girl Trina comes up to she cross checks Bridget with her hockey stick. She cross checks her.
Well, because she busted them playing the death game.
And she just doesn't like them.
She just hates them.
She hates them. She targeted her.
She's a popular girl picking on the alternative kids.
Yeah.
It's just that stereotype dynamic.
Also, side note, I don't know how they're getting away with this, but in the bleachers, there's 3 teenage boys, and they're screaming "Woohoo, baby, shake it!" Like they're literally.
Yeah. But why they have their cigarettes? So Bridget and Ginger are just hiding their smoke, and these 3 boys are just openly smoking on the bleachers.
And the teacher's not calling them out for yelling out sexual assault stuff.
This could just be an us being older movie sort of thing. But I feel like even back in 2000. That wasn't okay.
No, that was not okay back in 2000.
No,
but they are trying to set the scene.
Yeah.
But, ugh. Did not like that. But anyway, so back to the violence. Trina full-on cross-checks Bridget down and then, shoulder checks her, and she just completely goes down. And she lands in a dog carcass.
Yeah.
Have they not noticed that before?
See, I was like, were they just playing around this dead dog?
This dead carcass?
I was like, should someone clean this up? Is this a biohazard?
But then, everyone's standing up, the boys in the bleachers standing up going, that's the 3rd dog this week, or something like that.
And they still didn't think to clean it up or lock their dogs inside?
No one saw this, this is a flat field. And there is this bloody dog carcass.
It's just hanging there. It's very obviously. It wasn't a little, oh, what is that situation? It's still very large. She fell into it.
Yeah.
So...
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. And basically, end of the scene. Bridget's covered in blood. She's a little bit in shock. Ginger just picks her up, and they go off to get her cleaned up, and she threatens Trina going, if you touch my sister again, I will kill you, or whatever.
Dramatic event.
Dramatic. And my only notes here is Bridget wig equal bad.
Yeah, I see. This is where I quoted because I'm a very big fan of The Craft, so I'm very defensive of that movie. And I had written down, bad wig be bad, and people gave Sarah a wig crap in The Craft. So
after Bridget gets all like washed up, cleaned up after her falling into the dog guts, we cut to, I think it's at the end of the school day.
I'm assuming so because they're at the front of like the side of the school and everyone's leaving.
Yeah.
It's like they've already had a lunch, they've had a class. I think it's the end of the day.
I think it's the end of the day because that Jason fellow comes up to Ginger and be like, hey,
we should go out sometime.
Because what's our last names?
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
They call them the Fitz sisters.
Yeah. He comes up to her and goes like, hey, Fitzgerald, we should totally go out or something like that. And she just looks at him like,
I think this is establishing early, like very early, how awkward they both are and how they're both not boy crazy. They're both very awkward. They're very quiet. And I like this setup because later in the movie when obviously things change, it's like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I just love how she turned him down. She's like, no.
Bye.
Bye. And they walk away.
She didn't even bye. She's like,
no.
Oh. And just walks away.
Yeah.
And he's like, bitch.
Yeah, he calls her a bitch. I'm like, you have had no interactions with her apart from like harassing her verbally.
Yeah.
Like that is literally it. But then they walk in and they see that Trina chick and she's got her big Rottweiler dog with her.
Yeah.
She actually says her dog's breed later on and I just completely glazed over that.
I was too busy taking notes.
Yeah, it's okay. I glazed over that.
Yeah.
There was some, when we get to that point, I'll say
It was a Roddy. It was definitely a Roddy.
But my favourite points of that conversation was said a lot later. But anywho, they comment about Trina and her dog, and then all of a sudden this van rocks up, and we get introduced to Sam, the gardener of the school, also drug dealer.
I like his yellow van. It's like a bright yellow, like postal van almost. It's
like, the creepy van that you sell boiled lollies from for kids.
Hey children, you want to buy some lollies?
Well,
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not. Well, he's giving a special kind of lollies to these kids. He's doing a drug deal, and then there's Trina like holding her dog, like talking to him, be like, Sam, you have my number, right?
And she's like hair flipping, and she's like,
call me, you have my number, right? And he just completely drives off.
I love seeing this character who like literally like 2 minutes ago was such a cold bitch, and then a guy gets involved, and she's just like, I'm so loopy.
She just wants free stuff from the local dealer. That's it. That is all she wants.
Oh man.
Because then as soon as she turns away, she turns to Josh, not Josh, Jason. And she's like, I hate that I have to do that with him. And I'm just like, he didn't respond to you whatsoever.
You don't have to do that. Who are you
not
doing
like
this
you
for? But then like later in the movie as well, I did confuse me, but I was like, are they going out or are they just like hookup buddies, or she's legit doing this to like get free drugs?
That's it. I think so, because there's that scene later on where she walks up to him going, Sam, like she's waving at him going, Sam,
and then he's like, Bridget, and she's like,
what?
Orkies.
Or like that other scene where she rocks up with her dog going, Sam. This was when Ginger was in his van or whatever, and he was just like, oh God, not her.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's how we met Sam though. After that though is where we meet like mum and dad.
Oh yeah, because they're having dinner.
They're having dinner, and like Ginger's very like, my back is
hurts.
sore, I'm not feeling too crash, I'm just a bit uncomfortable. And I love the mum. The mum like leans over and she's like, do you think it's cramps? You and your sister are like 2-3 years late.
Yeah.
And Dad's just sitting there trying to like cough up his dinner.
He's like, Pamela, no, we're at the dinner. But she's looking at her going like, because I love Ginger's attitude here though.
She's like, no.
She's like, my spine hurts. And she's just like, well, why do you think that? She's, well, pain goes upwards from the nerves, mother.
She's like, is that, do you think where like your tampon would sit?
Yeah.
Is it that area?
Lower back, crushing around the side here, like accurately explaining
and
cramps.
Ginger's like, maybe. What if it is?
Yeah.
Obviously trying to like find out like, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Bridget goes, oh, maybe it's just like your spine like fusing together from this weird like
spinitis
disease
or something. Yeah.
And then the mum's just like, okay.
My daughter's a screwy.
And then Dad's just sitting there like chowing down, and then
like Ginger storms off.
Ginger storms off, she's uncomfortable, then Bridget goes with her.
And Mum's like, you're not excused, and don't you follow her, and they just go. They just go. But then the mum goes, now, your father and I are going out to counselling tonight. Don't leave the house, and the dad is like, Henry is going, oh, they don't leave the house anyway. She's just like, oh, well, some help you are. But, like, that sets the tone for the parents. The parents are very rocky from the get-go.
They're dysfunctional, but also...
Very dysfunctional.
Very dysfunctional, but I like how they're not, like, that's the whole character. They still, like, later in the movie, they're both still concerned for their daughters. They're both outside doing the gardening still. They're not, like, that bickering dysfunctional.
No.
They're obviously dysfunctional, but they're not. They're not a plot point dysfunctional. It's just a joke to move on from.
And so the next scene, the girls are outside.
Sorry, Mum and Dad.
Sorry, Mum and Dad, we're going outside
The
now.
second they said, don't go outside, I'm like, they're so going outside.
They're going outside. Apparently they had a plan to find Trina's dog or something. They said something. They said they were going to lure Trina's dog out. Ginger was going to get the dog, and if Trina came out, Bridget was to distract.
Do something.
They
were going to steal her dog, or... I honestly, I was taking notes. So
that's okay, that's alright. No, they were just fighting over it because...
It wasn't a major thing. It was just somehow to get them outside
Yeah.
Like...
Well, Bridget was apprehensive. She's like, no, I don't want to do this. And then, you know, Ginger did a whole thing. Don't have these ideas. It's your idea. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Ginger gaslights Bridget so bad. Yeah.
She's such a bad big sister. But she just knows, like, if she says something to Bridget, Bridget's going to go do it because she's the younger sister.
She wants to be like her older sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was it? They were going to lure the dog out because they wanted to try and get footage of the killer of the dogs.
Yeah.
The whatever that's been killing.
They just assumed it was just like a wild animal, like a
wild
bear
animal
or something. They just knew something was eating them, and they just assumed it was.
Yeah,
an animal.
that is exactly it. But then they found the carcass of one.
I noted at this point so far, are we up to 3 dog carcasses so far? So we had Baxter. We had the rando one on the hockey field, and now we have this one.
This is the third dog carcass. Okay.
Third dog carcass. I was like, Jesus.
Dog carcass count.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, last time we had cupcake count. This time we had dog carcass count.
Dog carcass count. Yeah. So this is the third dead dog carcass, and they're like, all right, well, this one will do, and they go to pick up the limbs, and then
Bridget goes like, oh, you've got some on you.
She goes, well, first off, it's warm.
Yeah.
And they pick it up, the corpse falls, and the blood goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, Bridget goes, you've got some on you. And Ginger goes, oh, okay. And lifts up her skirt as if you couldn't see it because her skirt was lifted.
Yeah.
And da-da-da-da.
She's like, I got the curse.
She got her period.
And first thing in my mind was, how many times did teenage Cassie refer to her period as the curse?
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
A lot. It was the curse for a solid 3 years before I called it the Crimson Wave.
Yeah, you still do that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because pads are like a surfboard.
We just call them blood pillows.
Yeah. Well, now we just call it Shark Week.
Hoo-ha-ha.
Shark Week. Hoo-ha.
Thank you, Nemo.
Thanks, Nemo.
This is a very TMI episode for people.
It's a coming of age film. We can talk about periods.
Oh, man. They're not blue. Sorry, guys, to be disappointed.
Where'd the blue thing come from?
It was an old TV ad thing where they were never red. They were always blue on TV because no one wanted to see that shit. So they made them blue to be more aesthetically pleasing.
Anyone who finds this disturbing, I'm sorry, guys, Christians, whatever the hell.
You're listening to this. You're not conservative at all.
Yeah.
On a podcast called Bloody Hell. Literally, this is the bloody of it.
Yeah. We women, we get this every 21 days.
Feed us chocolate wine and we'll be a friend for fine.
Normalize that shit. Anywho, Ginger gets her period, also known as the curse, and yes, I did refer to it a lot during my adolescence. And since she's got
fresh blood on her
coming out of her vajayjay, breathe. She gets dragged off by the wolf. Wolf comes in. Wolf is like, blood.
Yum yum. I just wrote down, the papa got her.
I wrote down what my nana says, which is munch munch, what's for lunch? But yeah, so we get this pretty cool chase scene.
It was cool. I did like the chase scene. I liked how Bridget was running around for a while trying to find Ginger because obviously she was taken from a wild animal. She didn't know where she was gone.
But if you can't handle things with flashing lights and just... If you get motion sick quick, I probably would skip through the scene because it is a lot of jump cuts, swishing cameras, and flashing.
It's very disorientating.
Yeah, because they try to not show the beast as much as possible in the early film.
Well, because at the end, like, it's a major reveal, and you don't want that to be spoiled so early on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they revealed enough because, like, obviously, do we call it a werewolf?
Yeah.
Dog, pupper.
Well, they've been calling it a lycanthrope, which is a werewolf.
A what?
A lycanthrope.
A lycanthrope. I'm just gonna call it a werewolf.
Yeah, that's what a werewolf is called.
Yeah.
A lycan or a lycanthrope is the terminology for a werewolf.
So, like, the werewolf eventually lets Ginger go because Bridget's gotten involved, and she's like smacking it with a stick, and it's all fine. And then she takes a photo with a Polaroid camera that she has, because she takes all of her film photos on.
No, she's been taking the Polaroids
The
out.
Polaroid camera, sorry, the Polaroid
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
They established that pretty early on. She always has a camera with her.
Yeah.
So she takes a photo and disorientates the werewolf enough. Ginger gets away, but they've got a picture of something, but she doesn't know what. But it's enough for them to get away. And they run from, like, the park that they're in into the street. And then poor Sam just goes, meow.
Oh, that's right. The werewolf gets
Right
annihilated by this van.
Like, immediately. It's just blood everywhere.
It
And
is.
he gets out of his car and he's just like,
oh, shit.
man.
I love the gore in this, though. The van is just covered in blood.
I appreciated that. I like that it wasn't chunky blood. It was just...
Exploded. It was just a geyser all over the van.
It was great. And he just gets out and he's just like, oh, man.
And I like that the carcass, because he comes out and checks out the carcass that he ran over, and it's twitching.
Yeah, and he's just like, that's not a dog.
That's not a dog.
He doesn't say it, but he's like, his reaction is just very...
He knows something's up.
That's not normal.
He knows something is up.
Yeah, he knows. And Bridget and Ginger, obviously, like, they've seen the dog get hit by Sam, like, with his car, and they're just like, thanks, bye!
Yeah, they run home.
I would be legging it too.
Yeah.
My sister was attacked by a giant
They
dog.
run home, and they also didn't pay attention to their parents, because Bridget runs into the house going, Mom! Dad! As if they are home.
As if they're home. Like, they didn't just say, like, we're not going to be home tonight. Make sure you stay inside. Which comes back to my... If they just listened to their parents, none of this would have happened.
Yeah. But then they go into the classic...
But then we wouldn't have a movie.
You get the classic trope of a horror movie next, because they go back home and Bridget tries to tend to Ginger's wounds, and she finds out Ginger's already healing. And it was props to the makeup department there. You have gashes on her shoulder.
Oh, and they look good.
They look good.
They look good. Like, I saw them and I was like, dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like... Just seeing, like, how you were okay. Like, you was attacked by this giant dog. But then she asks, like, what was that? And then she's like, a dog, maybe?
Oh, a
so
bear?
sarcastic. A bear? There's no bears around here, Bridget.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, it doesn't hurt. It's fine. I don't need attention.
I'm not actually... she's more in shock.
Yeah.
And she's like, because Bridget's like, does this hurt? When she presses on the wound, and Ginger's like, nah. But she's more panicking because of what just happened.
And then Bridget's obviously very like,
you're healing.
This isn't freaking normal. And Ginger's kind of... I do like how they did make Ginger a very oblivious, but like, I would have totally done this. I do this as an adult even. Just, there's a problem. It's fine.
You do this as an adult. I love
I'm
you,
not going to deal with this right now. And then a week later, you're like, fuck, my engine light's on.
Yeah.
Like...
But, because that's when, the traditional trope, Bridget starts going, gotta contact 911, but Ginger's like, no, don't do it, don't, like, let's just keep it between us, it's okay,
it's fine.
Look at
Don't
me,
call
I'm fine,
her.
I'm
It's
not in pain. And then, then they skip to, obviously, after Ginger is, showered and less bloody, and...
I think Ginger's just, like, gone to bed or gone to get ready.
She's sitting on Bridget's lap.
But she gets her... Is that when she's fixing her camera?
Yes, when she's fixing her camera.
Oh,
she's lying
on her
lap.
lap.
She's lying on her...
I was just watching her try and, like, fix the camera, and I'm like, that would suck to fix.
She's got a pillow, and she's fallen asleep on her sister's lap. So
I do like how they had, like, a very nice sister relationship. It wasn't a...
They showed the sister dynamic.
It was nice.
It was very
I really
cute.
liked it.
No, I loved it. I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
And then, because one thing I really liked about this film, it does... The reason why I thought it was really cool they didn't show the werewolf incomplete until, it got run over by the van. But the film tries to gaslight Bridget, because Bridget's looking up werewolves, thinking that it's a werewolf, because she opens up her Polaroid and she finds the footage of the werewolf, like just like at the corner of its face.
It's like essentially like a giant dog where you can see an eye, you can see some teeth. It's grey, but
you see the nose.
You see
it's
the
like
nose.
It's just like the eye to nose kind of thing.
But it looks like a big dog.
Yeah.
Though, and Bridget essentially
or a coyote
goes,
or something.
A dingo, something like that.
Yeah.
Like a big, vicious, wild dog.
Mm.
And Bridget essentially goes straight to, it's it's a werewolf.
It's a werewolf.
It's a werewolf. I know this. Like, I've got this. But the way they portrayed her in a way, though, too, to be more naive than Ginger.
I do like, though, with the film, it tries to gaslight Bridget into saying, it's all in your head, these are just normal period symptoms. Because in the beginning, they are.
They were very good at covering the whole, like, well, how does she not know that she's changing? Like, obviously, like, she's changing into this animal. And she's like, oh, it's just cramps. And we've all been there.
I'm cramped. I'm falling asleep in class. I'm fatigued. I'm
tired. I'm moody. I'm grumpy. I'm uncomfortable. I'm falling asleep in class.
I am suddenly horny and jumping on this guy that I've never shown interest in my life.
And you're like, I've got my period.
But then they get that cliche scene of coming of age films, whether in the pharmacy or supermarket, Walgreens, whatever, and they're buying pads or tampons, and you see this shop behind them, and you can tell it's an illegitimate shop because right behind them is the hair dye and condoms. I love the conversation of, this pack of tampons comes with a free calendar, and
I know! I thought I misheard so many little, like, one-liners. I thought I misheard it. I think I asked you, like, 2 or 3 times, like, wait, what did they say?
Yeah. Free calendar.
You want a free calendar to track your period?
Oh no, honey. This is 2021. I have an app for that. I have a Fitbit that reminds me of that. I'll wake up some mornings, my Fitbit will be like, your period's predicted to start today. I'm like, please don't.
Oh, see, I just messaged you and go, heads up. You're like 3 days later, you bitch.
Yeah. Actually accurate. But like, okay, so that one-liner got me. I loved it.
Yeah.
But then they take the packet of tampons and they take it to the register, and then that Jason fellow who's been cracking on to Ginger is like, you know, I have 3 sisters, looking at her purchase of tampons, and nothing quite like takes the edge off like a toque.
See, I thought when he said, I have 3 sisters, he was going to be genuine and be like, oh, the chocolate's really good, or the ice cream's really good, or I recommend this type of, like, painkiller. No, I hear a piece of weed is really good.
No, you were even more innocent. You're like, what's a toque? And I was like, pot. And you're like, what? And I'm like, marijuana. And you're like, oh!
No, I know what that was. Because again, like, that was some things, like, I misheard. And I was like, wait, what did he say? Because we don't call it a toque. I was like, oh, wait, is that what I think it is? Is he meaning drugs?
And Ginger's first is like, no, I don't want this. I like my edge. And then he just calls her, like, chicken or something. Like, he gives her a really weak comeback.
So far, she's rejected him and... Well, not really rejected, got really uncomfortable and just walked away, and he's like, bitch. And now he's just... He insulted her again because he...
And she's like, okay, I'll jump into this van with you.
Okay.
And yeah, next thing you know, there's Bridget there holding a plastic bag that obviously has, like, a see-through plastic bag that has tampons in there. I'm like, oh, been there.
Yeah.
And Bridget's in the Gardner drug dealer's van.
In Sam's car.
In Sam's van, having a toke with his 3 mates. Well, not Sam's mates, sorry, Jason's mates.
I think Sam is, like...
He's doing his gardening duties.
He's, off doing, like, his gardening stuff. But then, this is where they show that, like, he is, like, the local drug dealer.
Yeah. Well...
But everyone just goes automatically, you need drugs, you go to Sam, his van is a safe place. Because he later goes, what are you doing in my van?
Well,
Get out!
Yeah, he kicks him out, because he's still doing his job at that point. Because usually he does the deal at the end of the day, by the looks of the movie. But, yeah, because then Bridget notices that there's this massive, like, indent on his car from the werewolf just totally went in.
Yeah.
And then he's being a smart-ass Scott because she's like, how'd you get that dent? And he's
What'd
just like...
you hit?
Well, and then he goes, well, ma'am, officer, it looked like a lycanthrope to me. And that's when she goes, I know what a lycanthrope is. It's a werewolf. And then they just have this kerfuffle until he realizes that those dudes are doing...
serious.
Well, no, and also those dudes are doing smoking up in his van, which could get him into trouble if the smell goes out. He pulls him out of the van. He goes, get the fuck out of my van. And that's when freaking what's-her-face with her bloody dog comes up. And she's like, Sam, hi. And then her dog goes crazy at Ginger. Because the dogs are a reoccurring theme with the werewolves here.
Yeah.
And Ginger just full-on, don't watch the scene if you love dogs. Well, you wouldn't be watching already. Ginger just full-on punts this dog with her foot.
Oh.
And
I'm like, Bobby, no.
And Bobby, no. Goes, Ginger, no. And then, like, drops all of her paperwork, which Sam picks up, and drags Ginger away, who's been called a bitch for kicking Trina's
they're in
dog.
like a full-on fist fight. Like she's like punched or scratched or done something to Trina, and her nose is bleeding. There's a whole fight. Yeah, and then they're like, no, get off her.
Isn't that during the hockey scene?
So another scene with the hockey.
Yeah, there's another scene with the hockey, and that's when she bumps Bridget again.
Oh, this is like Happy Death Day all over.
This is Happy Death Day all over again.
Sometimes there's too many scenes of the same thing with the same characters essentially, and it's like, I get it. Condense that to 2.
Because then straight after this, they go to the bathroom, and that's when Ginger reveals that she's getting a hairy chest. Like, the scratches are growing hair.
Oh yeah, she's getting fluffy, and then she goes to guidance counselor.
They get the guidance counselor.
And she's just like, oh yes, explains like the most sex ed education.
That I got more sex ed from this film than I did in my Catholic school.
So I was like, cool, need sex ed, go watch Ginger Snaps.
No, she's explaining the cycle of a period, and I'm like, oh my god, as a kid I thought this was a normal. Okay, great.
And then she's like, what about abnormal hair?
Hair that wasn't there before.
And she's like, oh no, that's all included. And she's like, okay then.
Yeah.
I see, that's the part that did kind of lose me. But then like, this is me overthinking it though. They're not dumb girls. They would know that's not normal.
Well, the teacher said, when they said a hair that wasn't there before, the teacher goes, comes with the territory. So Bridget knows that means your hoo-ha. Whereas Ginger's just like, I'm fine. I'm just, puberty's making me ugly, but I don't care.
I feel like Bridget would be smart. It's just like me overthinking it. Like, Bridget is smarter. She would know.
She just does whatever Ginger says.
Yeah. I mean, hair coming from your saw that was attacked by a werewolf the night before isn't a common thing.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing about this movie that I was a bit like, you're smarter than that, Ginger. But again, it moves the movie along, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
got a
Hormones do weird shit to your brain.
Movie's got a movie.
Yeah, that's it. The movie's got a movie. And then we skip to the mum doing the laundry, and she finds Ginger's obviously bloody underwear. So how long has Ginger gone without tampons before they bought it at the shop?
Obviously a while.
Like, overnight. Because she got a period at nighttime.
Yeah.
And then the next day they went and bought tampons. Did she go put a tampon in before going into the van with the drugs? Or did she wait until afterwards?
I feel like she was just going natural the entire time.
She wears enough skirts, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, lots of layers.
It's black, you won't see it.
Yeah.
But then, like, so we get to the mum's doing the laundry, and she finds out because she's washing the girl's underwear, and I see a very familiar sight from when I was a teen, and she just looks at it, and I'm there going,
She's so proud.
She's proud!
She's like, and she gets a spray to go soak it.
to soak it, the bleach spray to just clean it.
Like, oh.
I'm like, I'd bin it. That's in the
I
bin.
just bin it. Not worth it. In the drawer it goes. No.
Yeah. And then we go to like dinner singing, and the mum comes out with like this cake or whatever going, Ginger's very favourite, and puts this cake down in front of Ginger, and she's like, our young girl is now a woman now.
Oh, and Ginger could just see she's just like turtling.
She's
so
turtling.
much. She's like, fuck off, mum.
She looks at Bridget and she's like, you're so dead. And Bridget's like, I didn't say anything.
Like, yeah, because she like straight away instantly like blaming her sister, and her sister's like, I didn't say anything. You're the one who didn't dispose of the evidence properly.
And then they had the biggest fight. So the biggest fight, and we get this really. I just found it so weird. Like obviously Bridget is like engrossed in her sister's period, but it's so weird because she's got that free calendar that came with the tampons.
And she's like tracking the cycle because like she was attacked by the werewolf on the full moon, which is when she got her period, which is when obviously the werewolf was out. Yeah. So it's this whole thing, and yeah, her sister Bridget is sitting there like with the little cardboard calendar, like tracking the period and the moon, and it like.
And then, like the next one should be. Her next period should be on just before Halloween or something on the full moon.
Yeah, just before.
The full moon, because she circles October 30.
Because again, movie has to movie.
Movie has to movie. But it kind of makes sense because, like, when we get this montage of, like Ginger getting, like, this, she's getting her new confidence. She does that classic hot girl transformation, walks down the hallway, which in Ginger's mind is literally... She's just taken off all those layers.
She's taken off a jacket.
She's taken off a jacket. She's just wearing a long skirt with a tank top, but because she's very skinny and has a very nice figure, she's wearing tight clothes and no one's ever seen.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
It's like all the creeps when Billie Eilish turned 18.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
But that's cut in with Bridget's like also montage of her like researching where she's going through with like the books and she's like watching old werewolf
films.
movies.
Yeah. I actually really liked this. Like, it was really cool, and it also the walk down the hallway. It really reminded me of like Jennifer's body.
See, I was going back again to the craft with the three of them walking down in the hallway again.
But then, like, they did the same thing with, like, what was that movie? Easy A? Like,
oh,
yeah.
I love that movie. I think the hot girl hallway walk trope it's it's not genre specific. It's
just a trope. Yeah, it's a common thing.
But you know what it is, and you're like, okay, character pivotal point, check.
And you can start seeing subtle transformations in Ginger. Like, she's getting grey blonde streaks into her hair, very subtle. Her eyes start going a little pointy. Her teeth start getting a little, very little by little.
Little.
I wonder how many dentures they went through for this film.
Oh, that's a good question. I was thinking towards the end, but I didn't think about all the stuff as well.
Because they've done a lot, yeah.
Because it wasn't just her, there was also a couple of other characters that had tiny little changes. Maybe they were just those werewolfy little side vampy ones, but...
Yeah, interesting to find out.
Yeah. This is like a whole other like segue scene where Sam then runs into B and into Bridget.
They call it B.
They call it B. They go back and forth between Bridget and B. Where like Sam then runs into B and he's like, he didn't say that he's like, I believe you. Because at this point it's almost like a month later.
Yeah.
And he doesn't acknowledge like, I believe you, but he's interested. He's gonna like, maybe, because he saw the werewolf. Like, he saw it because he hit it with his car. But then,
No, you're correct. Was it Sam? Like, because Sam finds Bridget and he's like, yeah, it's not like I've been hunting down you for like an entire week kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Because he picked up her paperwork that she dropped.
And that's how we found the Polaroid.
photo. Yeah.
And then he's like, I think, what is this? Because, again, like, he saw it. He knew what it was. He's like, that's not an average day doggo. Yeah, and she's just kind of herself not admitting what it is as well. Like, she knows, but she doesn't want to admit what it is. But also, she's awkward as all hell and doesn't want to be...
Yeah, she kind of brushes him off at first. She's like, you didn't see it. You didn't see that.
It's fine. I've got this. I don't want to deal with this. Because she's also protective of her sister.
Yeah.
And doesn't want everyone to know. Every man and his dog. Pun intended.
But then that night, she... is reading up on werewolves and looks over at her sleeping sister.
And she's got a fucking tail!
She's got a little nub. She looks at her butt and you get this like very gratuitous like fan shot of Catherine Isabel's butt, and Bridget like slowly peels away a part of her underwear and there's this little nub of a tail.
And I'm like, oh, it's a taco tail.
It's your cat. Kahlee has a Manx who have like little like naughty like just little nub tails, and it's so cute.
I'm like, taco tail. And then obviously like Bridget seeing this tail and going like, oh fuck, and just like gone straight back to bed.
But that's when she goes, all right, I'm gonna talk to Sam.
Something's happened.
Yeah,
like someone else has acknowledged this is a werewolf. She knows it's a werewolf, and now she's kind of got the confirmation herself.
It's a werewolf. Like, she's not going crazy.
Yeah,
These
she's not
insane.
Symptoms. Yeah.
But she goes to Sam because she's just like, okay, he's the only one that actually kind of believed me and wanted to look into this further.
Yeah.
And she goes to Sam and she kind of pretends to be Ginger. So she goes to Sam saying, I'm changing.
Yeah.
And just describes Ginger's symptoms. And one thing I loved about Sam's character, because Bridget B, she's never spoken for herself and she's always been following Ginger around. Sam starts validating B's thoughts.
Yeah.
And everything. He's like, I believe you. What you're going through is real. This is all real.
He didn't just palm her off and went, what the fuck?
You're crazy.
Yeah. He was very supportive and very like, okay, no, this is a thing. We've got this. It's fine. But it wasn't a romantic thing, which I also liked.
No, it wasn't romantic at all.
Because they could have really played that up.
No, they didn't.
They
didn't really play
They shot it down really quickly.
Played the beginning of a romance plot around the end. Yeah. And that's what I really like. And they didn't make it a big character segue.
It wasn't that whole character. It was just one of those like, there's fan fiction about that. Okay,
yeah,
let's move on with life.
Yeah, no. 18-year-old Cassie can tell you there's a lot of fan fiction about that.
Fanfiction.net.
Archive of our own, but yes. But yeah, so I think that's really cute. And then we cut to Bridget trying to find Ginger at school. Ginger's making out with Jason on his car.
Who she shot down like 2 or 3 times at this point. Very clearly, I'm not interested in you.
Mm-hmm. But then I love this so much. It's such a weird scene. But this gives you... It's one of the only frames of reference in this film that give you what a timeline is. Because Bridget is coming up to Ginger going, what are you doing? Why are you making out with him? Blah, blah, blah. Ginger goes, fuck you, sis. Gets into the car with Jason going, let's get out of here. And he's like, oh, hell yeah. Bridget yells out, she's ovulating! Which, if you don't know, is a week after your period.
Yeah.
So that's giving you a reference of time.
I like how they tracked it where it wasn't so like date title cards. It was just very, if you know, you know.
It shows time has passed for her transformation.
Without showing time has passed. Like without going through whole seasons and stuff.
Yeah.
But before that though, that's when Bridget and Sam figure out that it's not a physical thing, it's like an infection, it's an internal thing. And to get rid of it, they had to go through like the motions of, okay, it's not gonna be as easy as like, I know, stabbing her, I guess. Like, it's an inside. They wanted to live. They had to fix it from the inside. So it could be silver somewhere on her body, because silver gets rid of, like, bad jewelry, essentially.
Yeah, because they're saying it's like a virus and
it's
you
a
need
virus.
something. Yeah.
And so they kind of go through this little explanation of why later in the plot they had the cure for Ginger and why it is what it is. It's not, like, a clove of garlic or a silver steak. It's very, this is why, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And I do like that, but it also wasn't covered for half the movie. It was a brief conversation for like a 5-minute part. And it was, okay, nope, it's an inside thing. An injection has to fix this. Let's just inject it. And because he is the local drug dealer, he's like,
I know
got
this. Yeah,
this.
well,
Yeah, it's an infection. Yep. Where's a syringe?
Because, he's researching herbs and he tells her,
it was a certain flower.
it's wolfsbane that does this, but you can't find that, but an alternative is monkshood. And we're all sitting there going, that's the same bloody thing, but okay.
I was just like, Spotlight sell them for like $5 in the plastic plant section.
Well, that's it. They actually referenced the only way that they could find it, because it wasn't in season, was the Mother's Craft Supply selection.
They were dry ones, and I was like, where's your craft shop buy dry flowers like that? That is still
popular over there. Yeah, it's really popular over there.
Oh.
Yeah, and they can get anything from their craft shops. We don't get that here. We just get the fake shit.
I like the fake shit. I can't kill the fake shit.
But no, they get the dry stuff because you can actually make arrangements, potpourri and all that kind of stuff from it. Yeah,
I know you can go to like some homeware places and buy that stuff. Oh, I learned again something new.
Yeah, no, you can get dried plants over there, especially from craft shops. And people do like the pressed flowers and all that kind of stuff, so it's very popular.
Why you go?
Yeah, but it's just not commercially available here in Australia. Our craft shops are basic. Ginger goes off to have super happy, violent fun times with Jason. And I will let you know that they are super happy and violent. They're in the back of his car.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, I'm the man out of here. Like, what are you doing? And she's like,
Nah,
I'm
mate.
top, mate.
And it just looks like he's not having a good time. Like, he is screaming in his car.
Yeah.
And she is scratching at him. And
I honestly thought he was going to be dead. I'm like, oh, well, he's
dead.
dead.
He's
He's
gone.
on the count.
Yeah.
But then he came back and I'm like,
he goes back to his mates the next day going,
yeah.
Ginger Fitzgerald rocked my world.
But, like, he doesn't look okay.
He had scabs all over his face.
He's not dealing too well. So I'm like, why are you... Like, did we need to call someone?
Oh, he got infected. And
Yeah.
one thing I really liked about the movie with his infection is they showed him going through, like, a second puberty. Like, he had zits all over his face. And it was interesting. Like, I loved that. Meanwhile, like, Mum is being super supportive to Bridget, who's obviously feeling left out by her sister or whatever. And she's like,
you'll get there one day, sweetie. It's
your turn is
fine."
coming soon.
And she's just like, Mom, stop it.
But then, because you know how, like, there's a classic ways of dealing with a werewolf. So, like, silver bullet is one. Sam and Bridget, Sam and B, I'm just going to call her B. Sam and B have a discussion that, okay, Silver, what do we do? And Sam mentions piercing. And he gives B a silver earring to pierce her.
Ugh.
Oh, God. And after the hoinkus boinkus that Ginger and Jason go through, Ginger comes back crying.
She's covered in blood.
She's covered in blood. And first B was like, are
Has
you
he
okay?
done
Did he dump
something
something
to
to
you?
you? the other way around. But it turns out Ginger came home and ate the barking dog Norman from next door.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Because throughout this whole movie, like you said earlier on, the entire time, you can just hear Norman barking and barking. And there's a scene a bit earlier again where Ginger goes, well, Norman just like stopped barking. So they constantly remind you this is a really annoying dog next door. And once you're infected, you're a lot more...
Dogs are going to bark at you.
They're going to bark at you.
If you're a werewolf, yeah.
Like, it's a territorial thing, I guess.
I don't know. Something like
but,
that.
Yeah, it was very... She's just covered in blood. She's puking in the toilet. She's not doing too crash hot. Her werewolf nails are starting to grow in permanently.
There's like stiletto nails that they would have now. I'm like, well, that's in fashion for 2021.
But also I'm like, your nail tech needs to get a bit not so thick.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, it's a good nail bed.
Yeah, solid nail bed. Solid nail bed.
Yeah. So can I just paint that?
Yeah.
Some little nail art on that. That'd be pretty cool. Nice gradient. But yeah, she's not doing too cry. She's puking. She's not well.
She admitted defeat to B. She was just
she's like, I need help. This
I
is
need
like
help.
A month after
I killed the dog.
what's happened.
Yeah.
She's then so in passing the whole month.
I'm gonna say 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks called it's ovulation. So
yeah.
It's about a week. So from start of period, that would have been 5 days. Welcome to the world of period, guys. 5 days of period, and then it would have been 7 days after that for ovulation. So that would be about almost a week and a half to 2 weeks, because then a whole month until the next period is when she fully transforms.
Yeah.
So they decide to pierce Ginger's stomach.
No, this is how you get infections, and no, this is the scene that broke me, and I'm like, nope. And
Yeah,
this,
we can take gore. We
I
can take sword.
Give me someone's head getting stomped, something bloody, intestines, like scream, hung up, like Drew Barrymore from a tree, hostel. Give it to me. I don't care. Tendons cut. Love it. All of it. Home done piercings. Fuck off.
Because we just recently got pierced. Like, Carly's birthday was recently, and I gave her a voucher to go get her ears pierced. And in solidarity, I went too, and I got my ears seconds pierced and my helix done. And we had a lady like with the needle who was very accurate, just go beep boop done, beep boop done. And
it didn't hurt, but it was enough to also be like, oh, I felt that.
But with this one, the needle got jammed.
Stuck, and she's yanking it, and she's holding the bed, and she's like, and then like B is just like, I'm sorry, because it's in there, but it's not in there.
She's not using a sharp enough needle.
No, it's oozy and it's pussy and it's bloody. That's my limit right there.
It was really cool because like Bridget's holding on to Ginger. She's holding onto the bed. She's writhing because of the pain of the needle and the silver going into.
She goes, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, her teeth is coming out and all that. She's like, okay, it wasn't that bad. This is rad. Got a piercing now.
That's how you get infections.
Least of their worries right now.
Oh, it should be one of the very many worries.
It's the least of their worries.
Oh, it
right
should
now.
be up there though. I mean, the pants and skirts would be covering it, and that's how you get infections.
But our personal favourite scene after this is they cut to their next hockey lesson, and B and Ginger are in the change rooms, and Ginger's tail has gotten pretty long. And they're taping Ginger's tail to her leg so it doesn't show through, like, her sports pants.
I was kind of waiting, like, when they taped it, I was like, oh, no, is there going to be a joke somewhere about, like, does Ginger have a dick? In case, like, you could see the line or something. And I'm like, no, it's a tail, it's not at the front. But I was like, oh, no, they're going to make fun of her tail. They're going to see, like, the outline of it. And it never did. And I was like, okay, cool.
How did Jason not see the tail?
Because he's a horny 16-year-old who's just like, this is fine, my weirdo new girlfriend.
Because she had the weird
hookup is just riding to town.
Because that's when he comes up to his mate saying, yeah, she rocked my world.
Yeah.
But then he had blood in his pants. And
everyone's like, oh, you saw her recently.
Like, she had a period, she was on the rag, or you on the rag, bro? And he just had like this little speck of blood in his pants. And I'm just like, wait, that's when we got confused with the timeline.
Yeah.
Because we're like, wait, no, she should be over by now. Okay, because she's ovulating, she should be over. But then we get that scene where he goes to the bathroom and he goes to pee. And whilst he's peeing, blood comes out. And you and I are like, I wonder what that feels like.
Well.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. That probably means you should need a doctor if you are peeing blood. But for a girl, if blood is coming out of your vajayjay,
like,
okay.
Fuck.
If you are bleeding whilst you're peeing, yes, go see a doctor because you probably have kidney stones. But But
That looked at.
go get that looked at. But for us, if it's a certain time of the month and blood's coming out, we're just like, well,
Like, dang
sorry.
it, what did I have planned this week? Okay, no pool for me.
But like during this hockey session, English
away.
so good right now.
Is it really?
Sam, the drug man, comes up and he's like waving B down, and this is when Ginger, because Ginger was always very protective of B, but
Yeah.
Ginger's starting to get a little bit jealous now of any attention. Like,
Because she wants that attention.
the local janitor, when the local janitor is helping clean up when she fell into the dog in the beginning, and she's cleaning herself up, and the janitor's helping her and giving her stuff to help her clean. Ginger's like, he was looking down your top, and I'm like, she's wearing the most baggiest shit known to man, as if. And then like with Sam, she's like, oh fuck B, did you get a boyfriend during this time or whatever? Like, Ginger is very jealous and only wants her sister to herself, and only Ginger can go seek attention, and only Ginger can get said attention, and Ginger must always have 100% attention of her sister.
Would you say she's being territorial?
Of her sister?
Her sister?
Yeah, well, there's this really creepy line later on where they kind of suggest incest, where Ginger, she's probably about 3/4 of her transformation, and she looks at B and goes, it's like we're not even related anymore. You should join me and we'll make our own pact.
Ah, see, I just assumed that would be, I'm not related to you. Like, I will kill you. I don't have a connection to you anymore.
Yeah.
So
It was an incest plot.
Oh, I went innocent of like, yeah, well, I'm not your sister anymore. Like, we're not related. I'm gonna kill you, or I'm just gonna make you join me.
Yeah, it was an incest wanna mate plot. Sorry, honey. Sorry to ruin that for you.
Oh, I was being...
Yeah. She's protective of her sister. She doesn't want anyone around her sister whatsoever. Anyway.
Is that when Ginger finds out that Sam knows as well? Because Sam's at this point figured out that it's not B, it's Ginger who's turning.
Yeah, well, Sam's figured it out because during this sports session, like, B tells Sam to fuck off, don't bug her while she's at school, and she'll come see him later. And then she tells Bridget, because Ginger goes like, oh, what'd you tell him about me for? And Bridget's like, no, he thinks it's me.
Yeah.
I just didn't tell about you, I think it's me, I'm gonna see him later. You can come with, but just
He's
behave.
Gonna help, yeah.
And she's like, I'll be good. But during this, by the way, during this hockey scene is where Trina gets absolutely fucking annihilated by Ginger. Because they're having Trina shoulder checks B again. And
then she calls B a slut, though. Like, you Fitzgeralds are all sluts or something. Because Trina's seen B talking to Sam, and she's just like, oh, all you Fitzgerald sisters are sluts. Like, you just go after everybody. And that's when Ginger's like...
Yeah, she full on attacks her. She goes at her. She's punching her. Her nose is like fucking ruined. Oh fuck! Carly's broken my room.
Hello.
Anywho, they go to see Sam, and Ginger's just being a bitch to him. She's just like,
she's not nice anymore. Well, she was never really the nicest.
Well, she calls him out because that's when they discover Wolfsbane is
like a cure.
Yeah, they discover Wolfsbane is a cure, but there's an alternative called Monkshood. And they're like, okay, cool, keep that in mind, but it's not in season, where are we to find it? Okay, this might be an idea. And that's when Ginger starts acting out and going to Sam, going, don't you touch my sister, you know, she's only 15, what are you doing? And he kicks her out. And then Sam just looks at Bridget and goes, I don't think of you that way. And Bridget's like, she's just like, I'm over this. She's so dumb. She never had that thought, like, as if that thought never passed her mind. She's like, oh my fucking God, can we just focus here?
Like, I have a thing I need to sort out. Like, stop. Not everything is about sex, people.
Werewolves first, sex second. Please.
She's also like, I am a minor.
I am a minor.
I am a minor.
That's probably why they didn't do much romance with her, because she is 15.
She was, and they made it very clear that she's 15. Her sister is 16. Yeah. I think, I agree. That's why. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it's just, again, it wasn't the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, and then we get the biggest cabin fever scene that I've ever seen in my life, of Ginger shaving her legs and blood's just everywhere.
Oh yeah, she's fluffy.
She's fluffy. She's
and then,
shaving
like,
her
a little
hair.
claw.
She's a little claw coming out of her ankle.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
We all cut ourselves with a razor before, but like when you see that again, you go to a doctor. Yeah.
Trina comes over because her dog's missing.
Well, no, when she's shaving her legs, though, that's when the mum walks in.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah,
yeah, that's when the mum walks in and she's like, are you okay? And then like she like quickly like shut the curtain and her mum's just like, oh, all these models are like starved to death and like there's nothing to be self-conscious about, and she doesn't know her daughter's like,
well, because she yells out, Mum, get out. I'm fat. I'm fat. Oh,
I love the mum.
The mum's really cute.
At first I was like, oh, she's not very involved. At the same time being very involved. And then I'm like, oh no, she's just letting her kids do what they want and they'll come to her.
Yeah, they came up with it later because when I think Bea was trying to distract her mum, she went, we really appreciate your hands-off approach.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I knew that tactic was working.
Yeah. I was like, I love this mum. Can she be my mum? Oh, okay. Mum, bath scene over. Trina comes over.
Says she wants her dog back.
She wants her dog back. Her dog's gone missing. And she starts threatening Bea. Because Bea's the one that comes outside and says, like, greets her. And yeah, she's attacking Bea. And Ginger comes out and goes, oh, wow, she's here. She wants to play. Okay. And she drags Trina in the house. Yeah. Drags Trina in the house. And Bridget's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, you go off with your drug boy, yada yada. You have your toys, I have mine. Yeah. I'm making friends.
This is the first time I think you see Ginger, apart from like with Jason in the car, but she's very unmotivated. Like, with the whole thing with Jason, it was very like primal almost. This is the, oh, I'm just gonna fuck a bitch up because I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got Trina in like a headlock and she's like back in the kitchen and Bea's like, let her go. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep, and like they just kerfuffle, and my personal favourite is when Trina gets out of the headlock, she backs up, she finds a knife, she goes to threaten them, and then...
But she's puked at this point as well.
Yeah,
like,
she's puked, yeah.
Because, which is like, when it happened, I'm like, well, that's an odd thing to show. Because like, Ginger had her, and she's like, oh, gross, she puked, and that's how she got away from Ginger.
Well, she panic puked.
She panic puked. I mean, I would panic puke if someone was trying to like murder me.
Yeah.
I mean, if not, body do better.
Because Ginger had her hand over her mouth, and all of a sudden you just see this white stuff come
and
out.
She's like, and she goes to the sink, and then she grabs the knife.
Yeah. And then she trips over her and puke.
I lost my shit. I laughed so hard, and I think you weren't laughing, and I was laughing, and I was just like, oh, this is our friendship in a nutshell. It's like, oh, like she was just slaughtered.
She trips over and puke and hits the back of her head in the corner of the counter. Oh. And that's how she dies. Yeah. Blood force trauma to the back of the head. And because...
It was the dumbest way and I loved it.
They see blood like dripping out of her, like
mixed
just gushing.
With the vomit that she slipped over
the milky vomit. It's just gross. And then all of a sudden the parents are coming home.
Yeah.
And then next minute when the parents come in the door, body's gone, Ginger's on the floor, and then out comes Bea with a camera, and Mum just goes, girls, no more deaths in the house.
Yeah.
They reenact the scene as if they were filming more of their death scenes, and Ginger's being all like really cozying up to her dad, being like, it's okay, Daddy, it's just corn syrup.
It's fine.
And Mum goes, oh my fucking god, okay, I've got like this meat that I got from the grocer, I'm gonna go put it in the freezer, in the deep freezer in the basement or whatever.
Well, it's when they're trying to like carry her out in like the rug, and the mum has like her hair curlers all set, and the dad's like, I think they're up to something, being a bit suspicious. And Mum's like, oh no, they're just girls will be girls, it's fine.
But just before this, there you go, she goes to put the meat in the freezer. And
oh my god!
Yes! That's okay. Bea's trying to distract her mother from like looking deep in the freezer, like looking into the freezer and seeing Trina's corpse there. And she looks at her mum and goes, Mum, what are boys like? And the mum's just like, oh, and tosses the meat in the freezer without looking.
Like, yay!
And she has this nice chat to her daughters.
They have all the milk and the cookies on the table
that they didn't eat or touch.
I think it was a very uncomfortable situation. I mean, would you be drinking dairy if you could? That's
if you could. I can't drink dairy. I would still drink it. But yeah, they're just like, and yeah, there's freaking Bea with her mum. Bea's mum's just like, yeah, and that's what boys want, unfortunately. And Bea just looks horrified. Ginger is
just
flipping
sitting
her
there,
off.
like-
Like, she's scratching her nose, flipping her off like this. And they got their Segway. Parents go to bed. Ginger and Bee go grab the body, which is frozen over, and they're using a screwdriver.
It's got like frostbite to all hell.
Yeah. But yeah, then the mum, like, yeah, they were in their bedroom having, like, she kept a, she pulled up a book or whatever that says, why does my daughter date dummies or something?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm glad I kept this.
And she's like, fucking through it.
Yeah. But I love the mum because the mum has this very iconic, like, hairstyle. Like, she's got curls, but her fringe has two very distinct ringlets, and she has them set in little bobby pins
It's
before
so
she goes to
cute.
bed. And I'm like, oh my fucking god.
I love the parents.
It was a choice. It was a choice.
Great.
And yeah, the dad's all like, they're up to something. Them chickens are organised.
She's like, no, it's fine. It's just girls being girls.
This is girls being girls. It's
Meanwhile, like in the background, you can see them like trying to like carry this
The
thing out,
corpse,
and that's
yeah.
when they drop the two fingers that they accidentally like hacked off with the screwdriver,
That's
trying to get
right.
her like defrosted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then they take her to the they like a drop her, and they're like, oh,
In the
fuck.
shed.
It was like a cubby house or a shed or
yeah.
something. And then they're like, well, do we dig a shallow grave? It's more than she deserves. Or do we dig like an actual grave? And they're like, shallow it is.
Shallow it is. That's all she deserves. Oh, good.
Oh, man. And then that's it of Trina. And then I go to school.
Yeah, Trina's gone. Like, bye. First
Bye.
death of the movie. Like, out of here.
And then like at the school, like a big point of the rest of the movie also is like, well, where did she go? Like someone has taken her, and the boys had the bets of like, was she killed? She's dead. She's definitely dead.
That's right.
Or if she's run away.
Yeah, Trina's announced is missing, and they've decided that Ginger can't go to school anymore, and that's when, Bee, I keep getting Bee's name. Bridget, she's starting to, like, write a note, like a parent's note, to be like, please excuse Ginger from school today because blah, 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 blah. But then, like, you're hearing all these PAs. The PA voice is Lucy Lawless, by the way. Uncredited. Xena. The PA is announcing, like, oh, can these students please...
Wait, Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless.
You Ruby from Ash vs. Evil Dead, and you go straight to Mimi Rogers, and you completely forget about Lucy
because she's
Lawless.
not a main character.
Yes, she is!
Not in this movie.
I don't get Lucy Lawless is involved. I mean, she's more of a main character in Evil Dead than freaking...
Well, because we're not talking about Evil Dead. We're talking about Ginger Snap.
But you know... We have a situation right now.
We don't have a
Please-
situation.
Please hold.
We did not have a situation.
Please hold.
For fuck's sake. We're talking...
That's a big fact to leave out.
We're talking about Ginger Snaps.
I don't give two shits. That's a very clear
If
Evil
you give
Dead.
two shits, we'll finish this episode. Fuck.
This is now an Evil Dead episode, people. Sorry.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Cassie's also very done with my shit.
Okay.
Back to our previous scheduled content.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Anywho, for God's sake. Long story short, right now, skipping ahead. So, Ginger's not coming to school. Bee forges a note. Dinner that night, Mum finds out that they forged because the principal called up and wanted to know if Ginger was okay, and she needs to come to school to talk to police because she had a fight with the missing girl.
And she did yell like, I will kill you, to
Yes.
the missing now girl. Which, I mean, technically they're not wrong. She should kill him, so... You know.
Parents are upset. Ginger storms off. Bee goes to join Ginger.
They're like, nope. Sit your
Mum
butt back
goes, no,
down.
sit your ass down. And then Bee does a really good job of distracting the mother, being like, hey, no, it's okay. I'm just discovering myself. Like the mum's trying to be all like, Bee, you need to think for yourself. Stop following your sister's shadow. Blah, 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 blah. And that's when Bee notices on her mum's craft table, there is Monk's hood.
Yep.
And she goes, I need to end this conversation quickly and get this Monk's hood to Bloody Sam right now.
Well, she gets it, but then before that, though, she goes downstairs to go to make sure, like, Ginger's okay before she goes to Sam. And Ginger's sitting there, cutting her tail off.
She's not doing well. But, yeah, so she's trying to cut her tail off, and this was like, really creepy to watch with her with a knife in the tail. Bee convinces her not to do so, calms her sister down. They go to sleep that night. Bee sleeps with a baseball bat in her hand.
Yeah.
And the next day she brings a monk's hood to Sam. She's like, I don't know if you eat it. I don't know if you sniff it. I don't know if you whatever. And Sam
Just
goes,
do it.
Sam goes, you gotta inject it. And they make this, like, really edgy looking way of making the monk's hood. Like,
You were like, He's a drug dealer. He would totally have a Bunsen burner.
He has a Bunsen burner. Like,
He'd have
he
a
would
Bunsen
totally have a
burner.
Bunsen burner. And no, they decide to heat it up over a bloody candle.
Yep.
They get like a measuring cup with like alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol, and the monk's hood, and they're hydrating it, and they're like mixing it, and they put it over. They get a black candle, just a solid black tapered candle.
Gothy's got a goth.
Gothy's got a goth, and then just put the little like stainless steel measuring cup over the top, bowl it up, and they stick like a cotton ball in there, and they put the needle in there, and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, anti-werewolf venom right here.
But like in the meantime though, but when she's gone, because like Ginger can't go back to school, obviously.
Oh yeah, and she
Bea locked her in the bathroom.
Bea did lock her in the bathroom. Yeah.
Ginger's just like done. This is like her breaking point of like she's not Ginger anymore. She's just going for it, and she's broken out of the bathroom. The door's all scratched. She's not Ginger anymore.
Yeah, she's going insane. Like, yeah, she's just beating herself against the door continuously, scratching against the door, and she does escape. That's when Sam does admit to Bea that he knows it's for Ginger, and this could kill her, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Bea's like, we've got to try something. Like, this is the one thing. And she goes home, but then she runs into Jason, because now it's Halloween, and kids are trick-or-treating.
Oh, yeah, and he's all pimply, and he's like picking on the kid who's dressed as a cow.
Yeah, there's a kid dressed as a cow, and you just, like, cross over to Jason, who's shaking a child dressed as a cow.
But he tried to, like, eat the child?
I don't know.
Because he's turning already, like, because he's been infected, so...
Yeah, I don't know. Bea just looks at him and goes, get off that kid! And and then Jason just looks at him and goes, oh, hell yeah, a chick. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a change of character, but alright. And they tussle for a bit, but then Bea actually gets the needle into his neck. And it works on him. He actually, like, he falls down to the ground with the needle sticking out of his neck. And then he gets up, his normal voice returns, and he looks at Bea with the needle sticking out of his neck going, I've got a class to go to.
He's so disorientated. He's like, I've lost time. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
It's weird.
It was fun.
It was fun. But anyway, he goes back, and in the meantime, Ginger's gone to school, found Jason's friends, and she's got blood coming out the side of her head.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Because she's, like, bashed herself to hell in
Out
the
the
bathroom.
door. Yeah, she's holding her coat together really weirdly, and she goes to, like, Jason's guy friends to be like, are you going to the party tonight? And they're like, yeah, you've got red on you.
You've got something on
And she's like, that's cool. Party tonight, I'm in charge of the prizes, and one of you could be a winner. And she just flashes them.
Oh, yeah, and the guidance counselor looks past, and he's like, Ginger! To my office now! She's like, okay. This is the same teacher, though, who previously at the start of the movie had said how disturbing their project had been.
Yes.
So she already wasn't too crash hot on this teacher. So she's going down that list of people who were mean to her.
Have wronged her.
Wronged her, and she's just taking her opportunities when she can, I guess. So, yeah, he's like, get to my office, and she goes, and Bea finds her later, doesn't she? Just kind of finishes
Bea
there.
runs to the school to find Ginger.
With the guidance counselor, like...
Oh, guidance counselor. He's gone.
He gone.
He murdered. His guts are all over the
gone.
sidewall. It's just a red office.
He gone.
That guy bled out.
It reminded me of that scene in the first Candyman movie where the doctor's sitting at the desk talking to Helen saying like, it's been like 3 months, and then Candyman like reaches through his chest and takes his all bloody.
Yeah,
and he's just sitting there chilling, and it reminds me of that scene.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, guidance counselor's gone. Bea's just like, that's it. No, we're staying here until everyone goes. We're cleaning this up. I've got a cure for you. This will be fine.
Yeah. She's like, stay here. But also after that, we cut back to the parents who are just doing like their gardening.
Yeah.
And then her dad's like, oh my God. He's found the 2 like thawed out fingers.
Yes.
From Trina. And the mum's like, oh, it's just a movie prop. It's fine.
It's from their death project.
It's okay. She knows. And she puts it in like a Tupperware container.
Yep.
And just pops it in the freezer. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of that. And it's just like, it's going to come back later.
Yeah, well, she waits until like the dad's like gone somewhere or whatever. And then she starts digging up in the cubby house and she finds Trina's body.
Yeah. I love how supportive this mum is.
This mum is just, she just wants to be there for her daughters. Like, it's insane.
It's so fucked, but it's so insane.
It's so fucked,
so
but
good.
she's a wonderful mum, but yeah.
We question her.
But, back to the school. So the guidance counselor, gone, dead. They waited until after school so they can clean up after everything. However, The okay, so everyone goes. Bee leaves to go find cleaning supplies.
Oh yeah, because the office is like
far away. Yeah,
like
she goes to
Johnny
the janitor's
Depp's room
closet.
in Friday, like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just.
But then she comes back to find the janitor crawling towards her on the ground. So the janitor has gone in to clean up the office, just doing his rounds, and found Ginger, and Ginger attacked him, and
Because he was being creepy to Bee earlier on.
he wasn't even being creepy. He was helping her.
But she thought he was being creepy.
Yeah, because she's protective. She's jealous of her sister, jealous of any attention that her sister gets, and she doesn't want her sister getting that attention. So every time that attention's given to her, she's like, no, they're being creepy to you, back off.
Yeah.
So she's being overprotective and possessive of her sister. Territorial, like you've said before.
Yeah, territorial.
Yeah. And so she's just torturing this half-dead janitor, being like, I hate the way he looks at you. And then just completely murders him. And...
She thrashes him around a little bit, like... She throws him, like, he's trying to pull away, he pulls it back, she throws him to the wall, she smashes his head into, like, the fire hose rink, and he's not dying. Because she's like, he's still alive, we can fix this still, it's okay. And Ginger's like, nah, and just, like, finishes him off there and then, and Bee's like, okay, yep, no, we're definitely fucked now.
Yep.
So at this point, Ginger is 2 dead bodies and a dog. In?
Yeah, 2 dead bodies and a dog.
And a dog, yeah.
Yeah, 1 dog. No, she's 1 dog in. But yeah, we're 4 dogs death in the movie, but...
One is her,
one is
2
her.
dead bodies.
Yeah.
2 are from her.
But, I love the makeup of Ginger here, because she's starting to get more subtly wolf. Like, you can see it in her eyes.
I agree.
The curvature of her front eyes start going in. They start
Yeah.
narrowing them. She's starting to look more canine in her face. But after the janitor's like dead, he's gone. He gone. He had like it showed that she had infected the janitor, and Bee was like, okay, you've infected him, but we can get him help. I know what will cure him. And then Ginger just goes, nah, kills him. And then that's when the incest moment happened. That's when she starts quartering Bee and says like, we're not like we're related anymore. We need to escape. You have our own pact, and starts really getting creepily close to her, and that's when Bee starts sticking up for herself, and she's like, no,
This
I
is
said
wrong.
when we said that we were going to die together, it was together. I wasn't going to die for you. And that's when they fight, and Ginger just leaves her sister on the ground and goes, well, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
it, pretty much. And then it goes back to the mum who's still gardening at night
she
time.
digs up Tina's body.
It's a very, very quick, probably like minute scene where, because obviously like they found the fingers beforehand, the mum's suspicious, but she's like, gonna just be the cool mum. And then she's digging up in the garage or the cubby house, whatever it is. And that's when she finds the body. They don't show you the body, but you know what she's found. She's found it.
Yeah.
And I love how like her first instinct is like, I'm gonna burn my house down for these 2 girls then.
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay.
it. Because she goes to pick up, she finds
Bee.
finds Bee, who's running to try and find like hitchhike.
She's trying to hitchhike.
She's trying to get to this party.
Yeah.
Because there's a party going on at Sam's greenhouse later, and she's trying to hitch a ride with all these party cars. No one's picking her up, and then this...
Obviously, she looks like freaking nutter, like running down the street, being like, "Help me!
Help me! Let me in! I need to get to the party." And then Mum pulls up, picks up Bridget, and says, "You girls have done like a terrible thing, but if someone were to find out about it, like." I don't want them to take you away. You'd go to jail. I don't want them to take you away. You're my babies. So tomorrow morning, what we'll do is
she'll leave the gas on.
She'll fill the house up with gas and light a match, and us girls can go start a new life.
She'll take the blame, because I asked, like, what about Dad? And she's like, it's fine, I'll take the blame. I always take the blame.
Yeah, what about Dad? He'll just blame me. Let's just leave him.
Yeah.
Because they were going to counselling in the beginning, so you can tell the relationship wasn't working out.
Wasn't too crash anyway. But I love how her first reasoning is, well, my daughter's just killed and buried somebody. I'm gonna burn my house down to protect them.
Very protective mother. She's very cute.
She's good.
Aye. But so during this time, Ginger showed up to the party.
She's like full puppy dog mode.
Puppy dog mode.
Like,
she's everyone just thinks she's wearing really cool effects makeup on her face.
I do like, again, like I like how they pulled in like the Halloween of like she's obviously not Ginger anymore. Yeah. But it's Halloween, so it's just a costume.
Yeah, that's it. Because like because she walks all the way at the back of the party to Sam's office and tries to boink him.
Yeah.
And her crop top lifts up and she's got full on, like, puppy teats all over her stomach. Yeah. She's gone wolfy and she's trying to boink Sam and Sam's just like, this is fucked up. No, don't want this.
Well, because he knows what she is. Like, he's like, no, this isn't you. I know what you are. Like, no. And she's pretty persistent. And he's like, no, Ginger, stop. Get off me. And
he kicks her off. He kicks her off. And that's when Bridget shows up and storms through the door and they all fight. And then, what did they... Because she attacks Sam. Sam's, like, stuck in the side with, like, his arm injured. And that's when Bridget just goes, fine, look, stop hurting people that get close to me.
Yeah.
And she slices her hand. She slices Ginger's hand. They do, like, their blood pact thing again. And she's like, there we go. I'm part of you now. I'm like you.
Yeah.
So she's turned herself into a... She's infected herself. She's going to change soon.
But she does tell Sam in the meantime, though, that the cure works. Like, kind of that, it's fine. We've got this. I'm going to do this. The cure works.
He doesn't tell, but she doesn't tell him that until he's boinked Ginger over the head with the shovel.
Yeah, afterwards.
Because
he's like, it's fine. The cure works. Like,
he's like,
you
you
could have
told me.
And he's like, well, you could have told me that earlier before he smacked her on the head.
Yeah.
Now you get her out of this freaking building and...
Yeah, because they drive back in his van and Ginger's in the back of the van, like, fully transforming.
Yeah, like, she's just... That's when she goes from, like, puppy Ginger to, like, werewolf Ginger.
Yeah, werewolf Ginger. Oh, God. I want to know where the dad is in all this, because he doesn't really make another appearance, does he?
No, I think he wasn't a big character anyway. He was just there to spit out food when needed. Yeah,
spit out food. Have chicken when obviously they've got ham in the middle of their table. That's a blooper, by the way. There's that one scene.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, did the mum cook 2 dishes? But then also my mum would cook a special dinner for my dad sometimes if he didn't like what we were eating. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he was eating chicken bones whilst there was a giant ham in the middle of the dinner. Anyway, that's gone back a few scenes.
Fun effect.
Yeah. Okay, where are we up to? Oh, we're up to the final standoff because they come back to their house.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
so
Christ.
You see, every episode you're like, okay, I'll be 3 8 glasses in. And I'll be like, when is this over?
Yeah, we've been recording for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I'm gonna have some fun time.
I mean, I'm more than happy to listen to this with you.
It's okay. It'll take twice as long. It's fine.
So they're in the van and they're driving back, and Ginger's changing. She's changing, and then they get back to their house. And he goes, and is the door open or the window's broken? Something's broken. And
the door is like slightly ajar.
Yeah,
or something.
And he's like, I should have fixed that.
Like, I hope she hasn't escaped.
Yeah, and then he peeks in and he's like, I can't see anything. And he opens the door and she just like barrels out. Yeah. She's tricked him.
She's entered the house.
Yeah, she's in the house. And they look like from the garage into the house and they're like, well, that's where the cure is and that's where Ginger is. If we go in, we're dead.
Leave, go to the shops, make your own. But no, they decided the wolfsbane is in the house.
We've got to get that particular one.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
Just wait till tomorrow, wait till Hobby Lobby opens and off you go.
I don't even think they used the entirety of it when they were in his bloody house. Cause
see, that's what I was a bit confused about.
Why don't you just use the stuff that's in his bloody room?
Unless they did use it all and they were just really bad at making their cure drug.
I saw that 3/4 cup or whatever it was, and there was like a few leaves in there.
Yeah. Because she had like a whole
She had the
bush.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I was like, we're going back to the house to get the cure. And I'm like, wasn't that at the greenhouse where you just were?
Yeah.
But okay. Movie got a movie.
But yeah, so he's useless with one arm. He's only got the use of one arm. Like, one of his arms fucked because Ginger attacked it.
Yeah.
And she's feeling the change, so her body is freezing up.
Well, so she's like, my hand is numb. I can't feel anything. She has no pain anymore.
Yeah. And so, like, they're both hobbling around the kitchen. He's got, like, measuring cups in his mouth and all that. And they grab everything they need and they hide inside, like, the walk-in pantry.
I love it.
And I was like, okay. Righto. And they make it... And this is when they bring in the minor romance plot. Like, very, very minor.
Very subtle.
Because they make a dosage and he looks at B and says, let's just take this and run.
Yeah, he's like, let's take this cure,
put it in you,
we'll give it to you, and we'll just
get out.
We'll leave town. We'll leave your sister here. I mean, everyone's fucked anyway.
Let's just get out of here.
You go.
And I'm like, you know what? I think that's fair enough. Because I think Ginger's too far gone for the cure.
No, I agree, and that's where he says too, even like it passes back, like we don't know if this is going to kill her or if it's going to help her. And she gives it to Jason, and she's like, it helped him. He wasn't as far gone.
No, he was in early days.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they can't guarantee that, like, yeah, this is going to work. Like, it's either it's going to work or...
Then they fight
they're
who's
dead
going to
anyway.
leave, like, get out of the pantry first to give it to her. And I feel like B should have done it, because Sam's, like, all, like, doing the hero thing of going, no, I'll do it. Like, you have one useless arm. She at least has the advantage of being Ginger's sister.
She could kind of maybe diffuse the situation a little bit, or
at least just, like, she could take a few punches before going in and giving it a needle.
But no, he's like, no, I've got this, I'm going to do this.
And as soon as he walks out the door,
yeah, there he goes. I wrote down, R.I.P. Sam. 4 dead now.
Well, he's not dead, not quite.
That was a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
And I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely dead.
He's definitely dead. Well, she she goes off to find him because there's like a lot of flashing lights, sort of kerfuffling outside the
very
pantry
similar to
door.
when like Ginger was first taken by it.
Yeah.
It was that sort of style, very quick. They don't want to show
of
the
screaming.
Well, they still didn't want to see the werewolf yet.
Yeah.
So waiting for that whole reveal to see it, so they didn't want you to see Ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so Ginger takes Sam away, and in the blood you see the syringe with the little purple
With the purple,
cure
yeah.
in it, and she's like, "Yay, there's still a cure. It's fine. I'm not totally fucked."
Yeah, she picks it up and she goes to try and find where Sam and Ginger went. And yeah, she drops it. She goes down to the basement where their room is, and she drops it under the unfinished staircase, so it's stuck there. But then she hears Sam yelling, and we're like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
Sam's still alive!"
Like, yay!
And she forgets about the cure, goes to find Sam, and
Sam's not doing too well.
Sam's not
Doing
doing
well.
He's slumped against a wall,
Ugh.
covered in blood.
Not
He's
doing
red.
well.
And he's like on the brink of death. Like, he is so close. And Ginger's on one side of him. And B crawls up slowly and just like... And Ginger is full wolf form. We now see her full wolf
It's a
form now.
good wolf, which we had a whole discussion of. Like, I loved the wolf. I loved the look of it, because you said earlier, like, it was very Buffy.
It was very Buffy.
And
yeah.
I loved that. I like the general look.
Yeah, I like it. It's very intimidating, scary. They didn't do like hot werewolf. They did it for in the beginning while she was transforming. But when she's full werewolf,
she was hideous.
Hideous,
She was not
terrifying.
a person. It was a dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a person.
it was a wolf. It was gonna come get you.
Ginger's gone.
She's gone.
She's not coming back.
She's not coming back. She's past point of return.
Yeah.
But V starts like crawling towards them, trying not to look too intimidating, and trying to act like she's on Ginger's side. She starts like drinking the blood on the floor of Sam.
Yeah.
To try and be like, I'm on your side.
See, is this
Look.
what got me though? Because I wasn't too sure, because I understood the part where she was trying to be on her side, like, yes, I'm with you, I got this, but she's also infected already at this point as well. So was she just double reassuring that she was on her side? Did Ginger even know?
Because she could still defer. Like, she could still go, nah, I'm not going to go with you.
Yeah.
And that's what she ended up doing, because
she puked up
yeah,
the
she
blood.
puked. She couldn't stomach the blood.
Yeah.
And she puked it all up. And Ginger immediately went, oh, well, fuck you. And then killed Sam. And then you get the final fight scene, and it went on for a while.
It went for a while. There was a bit there I kind of sat on my phone. It wasn't a long fight, but it was long enough to be like,
Okay.
you're
cool,
gone now.
Cool.
You're good.
But eventually, we accept the fact that Ginger's not coming back, and she full-on stabs it. Like, Ginger's gone.
She's gone skis.
She's there. Ending scene. Ginger's dead.
Roll
holding
credits.
on to her sister. Roll credits. And that was it. Like, the ending was pretty good.
I like the ending. It was just a very... Yeah, no, Ginger... Like, I don't know how they could have come back from that with anything else. Like,
Yeah.
Ginger, the main character's dead. Sam, the other, like, main character's dead. The mum was still at that party being like, what the fuck? She wasn't that major of a character anyway.
Yeah.
And then B, the other main character, did her duty as the main character and, I guess, lack of a better word, final girl, and...
Yeah.
was cradling the corpse of her sister, so it's like, okay, I mean, that's it. There's nothing else you could do.
I wanted Mum to come back and they just set the house on fire and get the hell out of there.
Maybe they did.
I really wanted that, but if you've seen the sequel, you know what happens. And
I haven't seen any of the sequels. Like, again, I watched this movie when I was like 12, and I got sleepovers. I didn't really watch it. So the sequels intrigue me by like what you and like Sue talking about. I don't know if I want to watch them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
The sequel, it starts off okay. Like Ginger's on the. Not Ginger. Bee's still alive. She's on the run, and she's taking the drug that the cure ended up only being temporary, and they take it like daily. And I think that's a pretty cool concept.
That's cool because like they made it.
But they never really explored further of how much it fixes
Did they explain the sequel why Bee was on the run? Did they think she killed everybody?
Because there's another wolf chasing her.
Oh.
And that's why there's all these fan fictions saying that other wolf is Sam.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, he dead.
He dead. He
like,
was
there could be another werewolf that just goes, yes, there's another werewolf out here. Because B says to, there's another girl in it, like a young girl in this. It's set in an asylum. It's very like Girl Interrupted.
Oh.
It's set in an asylum. There's this girl called Ghost, and Ghost is like, oh, like, what if like it wants to be your friend, or what if yada yada yada? And she's like, no, Ghost, this other wolf wants to mate with me. And yeah, that's why everyone's like, fan fiction, it's totally Sam.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's it. That's
not
it.
everything has to be a fanfic.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I understand like the Game of Thrones ending sucked, and people were sad about that, and they rewrote the ending. No.
Yeah.
Again, just like that. Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Like the sequel, the second movie was quite dreadful. I didn't like it, especially the ending. Like it could have been a strong sequel because it's set in an asylum. Like
that's a cool setting. Like an asylum in general is a cool setting. Like
she gets caught out, and they send her into an asylum because of the whole werewolf thing.
Well,
they
yeah,
think she's
like
crazy.
she's saying that like her sister turned into a werewolf and murdered 3 people.
Yeah.
Ate all the neighborhood dogs. The mum's probably like, what's better than prison?
Well, the mum doesn't even exist in this film. She's on the run. She's
she's on the run. Yeah.
So there's no mum. She just winds up in this asylum, and because they just think she's a druggie because she's got all these holes in her arm from taking
the antidote.
The wolfsbane or the monk's hood or whatever.
So it's assumed she's...
They assume she's a drugger, so they take her drugs away from her, and then she has to start boinking some security guard to get her drugs because it's a corrupt asylum, pretty much like Girl Interrupted.
See, I was going to go straight to Curse of Chucky with corrupted asylums. The one where Nika's in the wheelchair.
Yeah, sort of similar,
I mean, the really creepy, like, psychologist.
Yeah, this one really tells you, like, the story. Yeah, something like the Curse of Chucky and all that, like, with, or was it Cult, sorry? Curse, yeah.
Oh, no, Cult. Curse is the first one with the mansion. Cult is the asylum, yeah. Sorry,
that's it. That's okay. I was also going, whoop, wait.
Too many Chucky movies, and we love them. We love a good Chucky movie over here.
Yeah. But, yeah, the second one, quite dreadful. The third one was really cool because that was set in colonial times. And, I really like that one because it's basically telling you almost the exact same story, but
differently.
Yeah, with like almost like a cowboy and Indians kind of setting.
Was it like the prequel, like the setup of like how the werewolves came to be?
Well,
kind of like Chainsaw Massacre, where they go back to like how their family became the cannibals, sort of thing, like the origin story. That's the word I'm looking for.
We might rewatch it. It might be a bit insensitive because like it features like they track the werewolf stuff to some kind of curse of like Indian Africa. Yeah. They do try and do like some sort of weird tribal curse or something. And they basically, the 2 girls, they wind up at this settlement that has high walls, similar to like the one in Pocahontas. A settlement with high walls, and they close the gates at night to keep the beasts out. But then they let the girls in, did not realizing that one of them had been bitten. And it's a fairly interesting movie.
Are we going to ever cover those 2 movies or nah?
We can cover them both at once.
Okay.
We'll do a bad movie episode.
Okay. We'll maybe look into that.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
We have a list already of things we want to cover, so maybe that can be a little bloody filler.
Well, bloody filler. We'll cover that next time. Anyway, with that concludes today's. It's now nighttime. We've been doing this since 3 p.m.
We did watch a movie in that, though.
We did.
We watched a movie. We had dinner.
My cat's now asleep next to us.
Your cats are pretty cute.
Yeah, well, she was being a shit outside. We had to let her in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that concludes today's episode of Bloody Hell and Ginger Snaps. let us know of what you would like us to do next. We are on these socials, so please be sure to stab that follow button on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and help us improve our social media game. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Anyway, we're going to say goodnight. Are you going to say goodnight, Kahlee?
Night.
Bye.
Bye.